Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
PUBG Mobile for free.
You've got to be careful there, all close, shooting out the door, it's going to try and make it work. Nicely done. Fourth, there's still potential here for them to win it out. Tapsy gets
trying to reach another compound.
For Ultra to this compound. Champion's going to have to be on a bit of hero play here. Back and forth. ASC able to hold on at least for now. They're able to deliver their damage, and this is the way you want to see it get done.
he's still racking up the kills.
It's this northeast side where there is about 4 different teams fighting. Spraying away, trying to make it work there. Do the damage onto ASC from up high. This is an uphill battle in every sense of getting them apart for Whitehall. They see the opportunity, they see the chance. It's all up to the final member. Hopper spraying away, he's doing a lot of damage. He believes he can make this work, but he's found. Rosq tried to sneak out a bit, firing off some shots.
Just to break down what happened in this fight.
They move forward, and they're looking to take down further players. A lot of damage. The rapid fire's coming in. Carrick knows they can only hold on for so long. It's exactly what's happening. Whitehall's under pressure. We see it.
This is like the real test, right? Who can stay alive? We did ask the Kumas to play more aggressive. I'm loving this, right?
Is it worth it? Hopper again. He's loud, proud, and trying to do some damage, but he can't. Try and provide some extra cover fire here. They managed to get the refrag. Can he get this kill as well? Now, more shots coming off, but Vanos, he's just lighting up the scoreboard as much as... Ultra's going into the fight though. They're hungry for the kills. They're hungry to do the damage. Play zone coming in. Shots, Ramon's trying to fire back, but they're heavily under pressure now. Able to get one knock in. Might benefit B13. They see him going for the kill.
That's not how you defend the compound. You use it to go up payroll. Looks like is this a mass number of flex?
Wow.
To fight you guys at the other, right? Really, really unnecessary. And I mean, we see the trading back and forth.
Up and around spray. Now under pressure, it's the Romanians able to deliver it to them. And there is battles across the board here. This open air.
CTD did down to just one guy and they're going to be finished out here. They go down.
If Rambo can land any of these, and he's just barreling them out towards them. Graham's able to find one of the TQ players, but he can do. Can he get any kills? Can he potentially bring himself up? He finds one onto Rambo. How much more? Dochi trying to play as smart as he can, but there's only a little bit of room he can have behind that tree. The Romanians take it. Getting themselves into a firefight with TRD, and this could be TRD seeking elimination.
They're doing in this game, but I still feel like their strategy is a bit bold when they're fighting that much in the first couple of seconds.
Looking to spray it out. Oh no, B13, they've given Flex another opportunity. Who's going to see who first? Oh no. They can connect. How was he able to get that away? Andrew Lyon, he's come in with it. Phantom's found himself knocked, but Flex, they've pushed out. Their hungers are being whittled away. More teams going down, and it's square. They're looking to come over this ridge and try and make it work. Cuss, he knows this revive has to come in now. He's waiting for it, goes in for the fight, hard low on health, but that's it. Flex got most of their members on the floor, only Levi remains. What can he get done here? He's going for extra kills, 25 kills up. They're not going to get it done. Rosq take the win. We've reached the semi-final stage here at the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019, and it has been a crazy set of weeks leading up to this. Teams have struggled, teams have fought, teams have looked insane on the game. But the question is, who can Matthias Larsson to take you through all the action once again, bring the laughs, bring the macaws, and maybe talk about some other crazy teams that come along with it. But ultimately, this is where it's crunch time, right? We spoke about it before. Yeah. Qualifying was difficult enough. Then you get into this, the top 32 teams throughout Europe then have to make sure they get themselves within the top 24 just to stay alive. And now, this is what it all comes down to. There is only so much room, and this means now no mistakes. They must have put in a lot of practice. They must have made some big attempts at improving their game, or maybe just adapting a different style to counter some of the other teams that are in here. But the difference is, now these teams know each other a bit better, Larson.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're down to 24 teams. We have 2 more weeks, 6 more game days, and we'll have to get rid of another 8 teams to get down to the finals here. And one thing you could have taken from before, so all right, the first stage has been quote-unquote easy in the sense that we saw a lot of the teams that went out and got disqualified. They didn't put up much of a fight, right?
True, true.
And this just means that you have more better teams in the lobby. And I quickly skimmed through the lobby today, and Group A and Group B, they were stacked. We had pretty much all of the top 10 in those 2 groups. Not all of them, but
really
most of them, right?
Interesting.
And here we can see the placement points.
Oh, yes. And the thing is, right, we looked at these placement points at the beginning. Both me and Larson were like, okay, everyone's going to be looking for placement points, and let's see how it works out. But what a lot of these teams forgot was that kills need to come in with it as well, because if you're not fragging, you're just sitting back the whole time, and then you may not have the loot you want. You may not be stacked on meds as you want. Things kind of turn around in a bit of a negative fashion. Now, today is Friday, and we've got 3 days ahead of us, guys, of great action, starting with Group A versus B today. Then we're having A versus C on day 2, and finally B versus C on day 3. And you can see our matches that are going to be kicking off today. We get to go over to the snowy hills of Vikendi to kick things off. Then we've got Sanhok, and then 2 games, as always, of Erangel.
Do you know what I noticed? Tomorrow we get Miramar again.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, let's get some Miramar. We've been waiting for this as well. We love ourselves some Miramar.
It's a little bit sketchy to play, but I mean, it's just the diversity, right? Since we have all the maps in, you have different playstyles on the map, and I think the playstyle of Miramar is also really, really unique, and it just requires you to put in a ton of effort in that map, and you have to have really, really good map knowledge to know all the nooks and cranes, the hills, whatever you can play from.
Now we're going fast into this one, Mr. Larson. It is going to be a very northern plane here. But with Vikendi being quite a small map, if you can grab yourself some of the snowmobiles, as I like to call them, you could be jetting off a little bit faster and push yourself around the map to wherever you want. But ultimately, I think for a lot of these teams now, they're going to be sat here thinking, all right, do we just stick to our guns? Have we done our research? That's the main thing, right, Larson? Have they looked at who potentially could be dropping in their spots who weren't dropping there before?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, personally, I think also you can speak on your behalf. We don't like hot dropping. We don't like fighting in the early game, especially, okay, I mean, this is the start, right?
Yes.
All right, you can say either we really need to prove ourselves now so we can potentially contest the landing spot later, or we need to play it safe and guarantee we go in, right? So teams might just play more defensive. I think that's very normal for the beginning of a tournament, that teams are a little bit more defensive. That's like, all right, once we play maybe 2-3 days, we can see we have like genuinely enough points to potentially stay in the top 16. Then you see them do different things. But here in the beginning, I think everybody wants to get as many points as possible, right?
Exactly that.
Also looking at the map, right, we don't really see anyone being contested. VP is White Post there in Podvosto, one of my favorite places. I'm just talking about VP because they were obviously one of the top teams heading in. We also have Unique. It usually lands. Where do they land? They should be in our lobby. All right, they're in the coal mine. Never mind. They're just up north center. Unique, White Post, and DM99. I believe they were like top 5, top 3. At least the DM99 and Unique, they were our top 2 coming into today. From the group stages, and I just want to like see, all right, they played really, really good in the group stages, but can they keep it up, right? Obviously now the competition is tougher. Maybe some of these teams, they were thriving because there were small, not so good teams in, and you can say, all right, these guys at the bottom, right? We know they're in a compound, we need to take this compound, then you can up to push them, right?
Yes.
But the harder the competition gets, and maybe some of these teams get more scared, or they just won't be as inclined to breach some of these compounds.
And I think that's a really good point, right? Because one thing we did notice was there were certain lobbies where there was more teams that were able to take advantage of some of the teams with maybe a little bit less experience, right? Well, when it comes to this now, there should be none of this. I'm expecting the best players across the board going head-to-head, and this make it very difficult for some teams who thought
what is going on here? Look at this. BKB, they're pushing onto the castle where Welcome to the Lobby is pushing right now. And BKB, they swam across the river to not make any noise. But Doctor's running in without any gun in his hand, so he might be expecting this to be clear. And we can't see this, but it honestly looks like he doesn't even have a weapon. BKB might have absolutely nothing, and they're trying to find a loot spot. I could be wrong about this, but we don't have all the information here. And Jonathan, he approaches them. This could be terrible for BKB.
Luckily, they're getting within their vehicle to run away. A few shots going to be routed off towards them, and that's a really good trace there from Jonathan. He actually lands a fair few shots. There's a couple of players who have taken a bit of damage. He's continuing to try and get it done, but the distance proved just that little bit too much there. But very good from Welcome to the Lobby at gatekeeping on that position. They were not allowing BKB to come in. They're not taking any of their loot. They're not taking any of their fights, but also smart from BKB to realize, let's not run into this and fight.
But they haven't had any loot yet. We're, what, almost 4 minutes into the game, and they need to find a spot to loot. And the next place to go is not guaranteed to be unoccupied and not already looted. Definitely not the side you want to see if you're a big fan of them.
Now we've got FromHell on your screen. They are the team known as K. MG stands for Magic as well. These guys have had some games where we say, all right, not too bad, not too problematic there for them, but also had some games where we say you looked a little bit too scared to take some of the challenges as well.
It's like a lot of these teams, they play all right when they kind of have to circle towards them, but as soon as they need to make these big rotations and might end up being game-winning, a lot of them are lackluster. And hopefully, these teams have like looked back, all right, what have some of the better teams done? What have we done wrong in the games we got early? And ultimately, I think it comes down to, all right, try to keep vehicles alive for as long as possible, and then be able to make good rotations. You have to scout, kind of know which ways to drive, which ways to not drive, so you don't lose a lot of people when you rotate.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not something as simple as just saying, hey, have 4 vehicles alive and just drive over there and you're good. No. There's actually a lot of practice goes into it. And you also need to have all the information, right? You need to be able to communicate with each other, say, all right, this is a good way to path or drive. There's no one there, etc., etc., etc.
Now, White Pulse on your screen, they did end the standings as the #1 team. They were looking incredibly strong. And Larson shaking his head at me thinking, I've got that wrong. They were #1, then Unique took them, right?
Yeah, they were #1, but I believe Unique was #1 and DM19 was #2. And I'm not sure because White Pulse had a terrible last day, right? They were #1 heading in, but I don't think they ended up #1 overall.
True, they went down to 4th. EpicGang were ahead of them, DM19 and Team Unique above them. The reason I was going to mention White Pulse, which is really interesting, we praise them very heavily, right, for multiple occasions. This team, I was speaking to Kay last, we were having a little conversation, and they are a mixed team. They're just some friends playing together, testing out, seeing how far they can go. So that's very impressive from a team who's not like a solid, squadded out team who are regularly playing with each other.
Definitely. A team I want to see impress us today is Avangar, as they find one of the FromHell members. Somebody who's not impressing is FromHell as they get picked apart on multiple different sides. They're getting caught between DM, between Avangar, and now potentially more as they're like all split apart. Bad start.
He's running straight out of there. He's got himself in a vehicle. He's seen one of his teammates knocked. One's already dead, and he does not want to try and get into it. Now Gonzo, he's got backup fire coming in from DGR, and it just means that Avangar can push forward. They've got 4 alive. They can provide the cover fire, but they can look for the rest of FromHell to try and finish them off. DM do have to be careful as well, though, because they've made some noise, and CZ, they've started to come over the rocks, and they're saying, all right, if you guys are going to start this off, we can look for an opportunity to finish you off.
Oh, yeah. DM, our second placement coming into this, they've been showing a lot of really good performances throughout our group stages. And they're not looking to slow down here, as they take on CZ, already getting a knock. But they have to decide here, do we want to commit to this? It's right at the beginning of the game, or do we want to disengage from this fight? And you can do both with these smokes, right? He smoked off his snowmobile, he could opt to drive away, or he could use the smokes to push with.
A big nade doing a hell of a lot of damage there. More going out, but they're not going to connect just yet. DM, if they wanted to push on this, now would be the time to do it. But they don't know that. Only we do. That's the benefits of our position sometimes, that we get to observe how this plays out. All can come down to timing. And CZ, they may not have too much time on their hands if DM want to try and push this forward. And DM set up here. They're ready for this. And instantly, Sanhok goes down once again. Just been revived, heals himself up, and wastes all the meds.
M19 here, they ran into BML, and they actually get flushed in 16th place, and they didn't even manage to take out a single member from BML here, as they managed to get 2 revives up. And what you talked about, DM, I really like what they're doing here, right? They know it's not worth committing to a fight in Circle 1. We do not want to lose any members, so even though they guess these knocks, they're not committing to the fight, and I respect that. A team that's committed is Unique, as we see on a minimap. They take down 2 members, I believe it was from TQ, Team Quest, Team Q.
Oh, T-Quest. It's how we can't say it. All the names we can't pronounce it yet.
It was TQ. I believe they're literally called Team Q or Team QS. But either way, Unique, they're showing up today. DM, they are still battling it out with CZ here.
So it's Team QUESO, which to me sounds a bit Spanish.
Queso?
Queso?
Yeah.
We'll learn some Spanish at some point. We'll catch up on that. But overall, DM, even though they've repositioned themselves a little bit here, CZ are still looking to try and fight him out here. Battle back and forth. Matic has to be so careful. One shot, and he's going down. He's just staying out in the open as well. He may manage to get the knock now, but there's still more to find. He needs to heal himself up. Just a couple of bullets, and he's done for.
Who does that? Just stands on top of a rock, completely exposed with 1 HP, and say, all right, I can win this fight.
If I ever did that, I'd instantly be down. Someone would just pop 1 bullet, and that's it. Game over.
That's what I would call kill greedy, kill horny to some extent. It's like, hey, I want that kill. I'm not going to heal that my teammates get it. This is an easy guy. I want it. You know that. It's like going for airdrops. You kind of want to greed to get all the kills.
Yes. Now, White Pulse, they've got a supply drop right by them with an AWM in. I know you love to see it, Larson. The level 3 gear will also help them out. And this is an easy one for them to pick up. There's no real concern for any other teams to be around them here. And this gives them the boost they would want early on when it comes to getting onto these rotations.
And you see, it was Kaylas who went for the airdrop.
Yeah.
And you talked about him. Obviously, I'm not from the mobile scene, but you're telling me Kaylas, he's been big in the PUBG mobile history, but he's also been really successful in other mobile games, right?
Exactly that. Yeah, he was a former pro in other games. He is now a current pro in PUBG Mobile. He's a guy that is clearly very capable just within gaming, which is a scary factor when you think of it. Because it's all well and good being good at one game, right? Yes, I'm a pro, I put the time in. But multiple games? My man.
Yeah,
My man.
That's something you see quite often, right? You decide to give the airdrops to some of your star players just because you know they might be able to push out the most damage with it or survive or clutch out the game. And clearly, Kaylas, he's been popping off throughout the group stages as well. Here, welcome to the lobby. A team that's also done extremely well. They're facing Storm here, but they're using a lot of the utility early.
Wow,
I'm not a big fan of this. I'm like James, if you can save your utility until the later stage of the games, hell yeah.
Well, this could be easy frags though from the high ground. Will they know exactly where this is happening? Hellfire fired up on. A few bullets do connect, but welcome to the lobby. Now need to be careful because their position is known. The element surprise has gone. And the problem with that is if you're going to go for them shots for me, you need to do it when you're almost guaranteed a knocked player. Because now you've just turned it into a 4v4 and your advantage is kind of lost. Yes, the high ground is very big, but they know where to look. They can barrel some nades up there and you could be easily caught off guard.
Yeah, but that's also what I meant. We saw them using nades, molotovs, etc. And they were throwing them blindly, hoping they would connect, right? And I think that's okay, but you want to do it later into the game when people have less space to play from. Like here, Storm, they can just run away, they can disengage, go into a compound. And once again, in my opinion, I keep saying this again and again, they're not fighting for anything, but Avangar, they just destroyed the Romanian squad right here. I don't think they lost a single member. Team Romania, they wanted to have a central position here in the zone, but they got denied.
And this actually sees Avangar now. Very central on the circle. You've also just taken down one team. More teams are going to join the fight, but because you eliminated Romania so quick, this means that you can still stand strong if some other team does want to roll up on you.
Yeah, and I like to see that welcome to the lobby. They can disengage a bit the circle. We're still only in zone 2. I know that Storm is straight center in the zone, but there's many other places that welcome to the lobby can play off from, right? And just because you're sent in zone 2 doesn't really mean all that much necessarily. So I like the decision of them pulling back, saying, all right, we have a spot here we can play from, we can probably keep our vehicles safe, and then they can play off that rather than committing to fights this early. Which, I mean, I can understand it if you're hard breaching a compound like we saw some of these teams that got eliminated that, but you should be able to take it slow and scout a way forward, right? You shouldn't have to breach a compound and fight.
Yeah, at this point, you really would hope so, right? You don't want to be in one of those
White
spots where
Poles have a second airdrop right next to them, but I don't know if they want to go for it. It's still a couple hundred meters away, but
it's a risk, but could it be a worthwhile risk, right? It's always the risk versus
always
reward.
worth it, buddy.
That's how you know Larson would be that man, no matter what. Ah, guys, I'm just going over here real quick. I see the supply drop.
That's a mistake, James. I won't tell my teammates. I'll just go silently.
The anti-teammate Larson.
Sometimes when you say it out loud, your teammates will try to steal the airdrop from you. So it's better to just like sneak over there and hope they didn't see it.
Or you just wait until you're like literally a few meters away and go, oh, guys, I'm just getting this airdrop. And then they can't steal it from you. Now, Kuma, a team on your screen that we have spoke about quite a lot, and maybe not so much for in terms of just fragging out. This team, they managed to get through, but in 23rd place out of 24 that was available. This is where they now need to deliver their A-game. I need to see the best Kuma we've seen from some of them games we have previously. Now, we talk about them being a very passive team. The question is now, is that passive play going to work out for them? Are they going to be pushed around a little bit more by some of these stronger teams?
I believe I said last week I wanted Kuma to spend 8 hours plus a day just fracking out everybody getting their game on so they can be confident in taking these fights. Because I swear to God, whenever we see Kuma fight, it looks like they're almost afraid to take these games, right? They kind of fall apart as soon as a lot of pressure is applied to them. And I mean, all right, if you make it through in 23rd, you need to improve your game. And they have these rotations, they know how to move and stuff, but whenever it comes to taking a team fight, they just fall short. So what I want to see them change, right, is play together, maybe in a 2-2 so you can trade, back each other up, but also just be confident. Don't be afraid to take the fights. That's all. Be confident and, just say, all right, we got this. We're good at the game. We can actually kill other people instead of be like, oh no, they're coming. What am I going to do?
And the thing is, they are all good at the game, right? Just to be here, even to be amongst the top 32 in Europe, you were good at the game. But you just have to be that little bit better if you want to try and succeed now. Remember, there's $2.5 million on the line across PUBG Mobile throughout the Club Open 2019, which means that all of these teams are sat there with their eyes on the prize, but it's no true room for any mistakes. As Storm, they've got themselves some high ground. They've pulled out the picnic basket, and they've said, you know what, we would love right now to enjoy a little bit of food, a little bit of snack, until some of these players want to dare challenge us.
Where is Storm and Estonia? All right, they're just above Team 12, so they're kind of center in the right-hand side. They're chilling, and that's a cool mountain, right?
It's a really good spot.
And what I like about that spot is, all right, it's good now, but if they have to move later, you can see absolutely everything. So rotating from there should be very, very easy. They should be able to say, all right, all this is taken, all this is free. We just got to boom, 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 and then we have a compound.
And they are going to boom, boom, boom. The shot's already firing off. They managed to get a knock on to Welcome to the Lobby. Now remember, Welcome to the Lobby just about a few minutes ago had the high ground on them and took the challenge. They've then backed away from each other, and Storm have repositioned, and they've positioned themselves into a much better spot to play from here. Welcome to the Lobby stuck behind one rock, and all it would take is a few nades, and you're pretty much getting the whole team.
Oh yeah, you hate to see it. This is personally for me, you never want to be that stacked.
No.
Luckily for them, Storm is nowhere near, at least not close enough to throw in those nades, as you mentioned. But getting out of this, you would have to get a knock or two, and it's just using your meds, losing your armor this early. It always hurts so much.
Now, Magic, we haven't seen much from them so far in this game in particular, but they've got themselves a compound, they've got themselves a nice
James,
position.
you've seen the same thing I'm seeing.
Another supply drop.
Why are
Welcome
they getting
to the
3
lobby.
airdrops?
Do you know what they are? They're Magneto from X-Men. And there's metal within that supply drop, and they're just bringing it to them every single time. They see it drop down from the plane, and they went, yoink, I'm taking that one. I'm placing it here.
James, did you know when you buy MTX, microtransactions from the store, you get more airdrops? I believe right post before this game, they spent a little bit of money to get all of these airdrops.
And you know that from experience, because I know you love to spend money.
This is a disclaimer. It's not true, but...
Yes, it's certainly not true, but this is just us having fun with Larsen's crazy amount of spending, and he probably also gets a lot of airdrops.
Oh,
wink,
yeah.
wink, nudge, nudge.
All the time. Every game. Or die trying.
Oh, that's a new one. Get supply drop or die trying.
Oh, yeah.
The PUBG movie. We're going to make it. It's going to happen.
Oh, no.
It's going to have a rapper in it.
I don't rap, I'm sorry.
Okay, that'll be me. I've tried to sing along to many songs here on the broadcast.
DM here. I was wondering if I should try singing, but I think on behalf of everyone, I just wanted to know, not even get into it.
We'll do some practice sessions in the hotel room together, and then we'll maybe bring it to broadcast.
But the thing is, right, if we were to do practice sessions in the hotel lobby, we might not be completely sober, and then it might sound really good. But once we get back to back to the broadcast completely sober, we might have some issues, and it won't sound as good.
Yeah, everyone on track will be like, what are these guys doing? Why are they singing? They can't sing.
Kuma, they're on the move though, driving right past TQ. But as we know, earlier they lost 2 members to Unique, and they might not be as inclined to shoot, so Kuma makes it in nice and safe.
And that's it, right? Kuma now have a vehicle. They've got a rotation to play off of here. They can move themselves a little bit more towards the circle. They're not far away here from TQ, who are probably observing what's going on perfectly here. But what it does mean with Kuma being ahead of him, if they want to then push in on this next circle, they're probably going to have to take this fight unless Kuma move next.
Yeah, but we don't even know if Kuma is aware of them, right? 2 snakes in a field that doesn't even shoot at them when you drive by. I'd be like, hey, there's nobody here. Otherwise, we would have been shot at, right? So we'll see if Kuma even spots out TQ or if they just avoid the fight altogether. A team they're still in the blue is FromHell here. We did see them lose at least 1 member earlier, but they're down to just 2. And it's okay. It's fair play, right? It is circle 4, but at least I want to say in circle 1 to 3, you can rotate freely in the blue without any problems. After circle 4 and like even now, it hurts a lot. But interesting decision that they're going all the way around here, and they might just run straight into Unique if they stay in the blue.
Now CZ v Hoka, you can see on the western side here near Volnova. This guy has been solo for a very long time. He's going to have to rotate in, but he's still got to go in front of FTP. If he keeps going at this pace, there's a good chance that he's going to be picked off by some players, and that's his team going to be eliminated. So if he's looking to play the long game, if he's looking to try and snake his way to some placement points, he needs to try and find a successful way around this.
Yeah, I'd swim at this point, right? So as much as I say you hate swimming, but when you're alone, You can kind of see towards the water if there's anybody holding it, and maybe make it across. But I mean, hey, it's easier to say when I have the minimap open and I can say, hey, there's nobody there. But trying to go through these cities, you can't really scout that much, and you kind of just have to hope that you don't run into anybody, right? You go towards the water, you can pretty much scout anything safely, and then say, all right, I can't make it through, I have to go into the city. FromHell here, they found one onto Unique. I believe they're down to just 2, so I don't think we'll see much more than a knock. But we'll see what happens with that knock from FromHell. FTP here, FeelThePain. This is weird. Why is the grass green there, James? I want to be against that and say, hey, that can't grow in the winter snowy terrain.
The grass is always greener on the other side. Now, you know, Team Queso? I've just been informed that Queso actually means cheese in Spanish. So Team Cheese. Are they going to cheese their way to victories? Hopefully not. Hopefully they're going to play out all guns blazing. The problem is they've only got 2 members alive. So thank you very much, chat. Thank you for letting us know.
Almost just committed to crashing into White Postal's compound. Luckily, they get away with everybody nice and healthy. And it seems like they're finding some terrain here to play in the open. They have a really nice hill here, and nobody should be able to see them, at least from now. A team that I wanted to see a lot from. All right, it's not like Avangar done bad, right? I believe they ended 7th overall in our group stages. But even though they ended high placement, I felt like they were very, very quiet. They weren't like a standout team that really just showed you that they were one of the best, even though they got a high placement. So they obviously played well. But I want to see if they can be a standout team for me, where I go like, instead of saying, okay, they play top 8, they're good, and say, oh, damn, these are somebody we really need to watch out for.
And I agree, because the thing is, Avangar across multiple games are a very prominent esports team. They've come into PUBG Mobile. We're expecting a lot for them to be picked up as one of the few teams that does have an organization to represent here. But I agree with you. There were certain games and decisions where we just went, what are you doing? Like, well, this doesn't make sense. So now they've got to top 24. I want to see the Avangar with the not making mistakes, but also playing a bit more as a successful team. I want to see that practice put to work. Now they've got to this point because they can't afford to have any mistakes now. This is what I mean. When you get down to 24 teams, it is tough, and who it also is tough for is BKB. They've been shot at from multiple directions. They started off not getting loot no matter where they went, and this time they've walked into Unique and Magic, who are just gunning them down, ripping them apart, and potentially wiping them out.
It's hard to say, but we're down to just 14 teams, so that could be all of BKB eliminated.
No, that was already, yeah, that was. It's been 14 for a little while.
Okay, yeah, right. We saw 2 teams push compounds.
But this could be it. Joey's trying to run away. He goes down. That's them eliminated. 13 left. And sadly for BKB, who we have seen some good games from, we have praised at times. Not the ideal start here for a Vikendi, but luckily there's plenty more games coming their way.
Oh, yeah. And this is when we start to see hectic. We're hitting 21 minutes into the game. We're into Circle 5. Now all these teams that have been sitting nice and pretty, they have to make big rotations to make it in. And it looks like Kuma opted to leave 1 member behind to try and drive in their vehicles. Here, I would say sometimes you have to take the fight. You can't just keep running away from your problems, right? If you keep running away, you'll just be funneled in between more and more teams, and then you'll never have any rest to even play the game from. We'll see if Kuma manages to make it in, but sometimes I feel like you have to say, all right, if we want to win this game, we actually have to fight instead of just, you know, blindly rotating all guys in a vehicle.
And this is the problem, right? Where they are also rotating just as a team together. They haven't really got that one player far forward to be the scout for them. They don't actually know where they're going into just yet. And I got to say here for Storm, these guys have sat here for the longest time. They don't have to move yet. They probably will on the next circle. If I was them, I'd be rotating pretty soon, because it could be very hard to rotate down when you've been shooting at people from up top. They're going to be looking for you.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised they haven't moved yet, right? So you could probably say around Circle 3 or Circle 4. You can see the entire circle, right? And then you'll be able to say, all right, this place is free. We should probably take that. And now, as you said, they have to go down from the mountain as the circle rotated hard shift to the south. And we only have a couple of teams in here, and a lot of people will have to make big moves to try and make it in.
Now, supply drop going down. This time, White Pulse, they've not pulled the Magneto. They've not drawn in the supply drop to themselves and said, we need it. They go, you know what, we've had 3. We've got plenty of gear. we can let someone else have this one. We want to make it at least fair, right? Question is, DM can see it. Matic looks to try and get close to it, but FTP are the team very near.
If you go for this airdrop, you're going to die, James.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
No way.
If FTP push out into this, you are just lighting yourself up. You need to be hidden.
It's in between two compounds. And Kuma down in the forest can see them, and potentially DM on the hill side would also be able to see it. So you're literally going to be shot from all 360 degrees.
If someone does go for it, though, that could be our first big balls play of the day.
Stupid, I'm gonna die and put my team in a bad spot. Play? Sure, go ahead. I mean, later on, it might be advantageous to go for it and it could help out, but at this point in time, no.
Now, this is funny. Hoka is there on his own. We've got 3 Kuma members just over the side, and he's the only member left alive for his team, so he cannot afford to move and roll into them. And they're all prone at the moment, which means he could potentially just not notice them.
So what I know from playing PC, right? If you see a compound and nobody has peeked at it for a minute or two, either they're not a full team or there's no one there. So I'm surprised we haven't seen Kuma push towards that compound just yet. They should have the knowledge that nobody is there, right?
FromHell have just gone down. Magic have eliminated them. There's 12 teams and 42 players left alive.
Oh yeah. And now we see the blue finally starting to push more and more teams in. Avangar, they're still sitting pretty. I say that, and White Pulse literally just pulling in front of them, and they might have taken a good spot from them in the zone. I could have been wrong. Maybe White Pulse is still a while away, but maybe White Pulse just put a stop for Avangar approach into the next zone.
Now, this is my problem with Kuma, right? And it is a team that I like to see play, but they play so passive at times that we see them lose one person. Now another person's gone forward and he gets lost. And because they're never wanting to take the fights, they just eventually get whittled away at here. And you're not going to win out like that. This is not how it's supposed to be done.
I 100% agree with you. And I still keep saying they need to frag out and play as a team, right? They need to play some public games and be like, oh yeah, we can definitely become good enough so we can take all these fights.
Now, Gochi just there missed a fair amount of shots onto Hellfire, I believe, from Storm. Now, Storm have made their way down the mountain that they've been the king of the castles of, so to speak, for quite some time, but they still managed to get away without getting dropped down. White Pulse under a bit of pressure as well. Frost is going to be taking circle damage, which is not what you want at phase 6. There's lots of battles happening here, and this is just chaotic. Everyone's out in the open. Hellfire ends up winning out the duel. His teammate Carrick is just trying to prone. He wants to stay alive, but surely they know where he is. The shots are going off. Carrick's starting to use a first aid kit out of nowhere, but he'll get finished off very easily there in the end. That was just a very confusing battle. He didn't seem to know what he wanted to do.
Team Spanish Cheese, they get taken out in 12th position. And Storm, they're barely hanging on to life, but they are up with 2 members. We see more from White Pulse getting taken down by Avangar, I believe it is. And they're down to just a few members. They even have anything left, as we're down to just 10 teams now. 32 people alive. Avangar, they're still sitting good in the zone. We saw Team 5, which I don't remember from the top of my head who's alive still. Welcome to the lobby here. What they're doing is alright, but I want to see them clear off their back before they try to make a more like approach into the zone, right? If you go in too early, you can get picked apart from multiple sides.
Now it seems that Kuma have been eliminated as well as we drop down to 10 teams. So that slow, passive pace didn't work out for him this time. But Magic, who we spoke about, who needed to come alive in the previous group stages, this time around, they are starting to rack up some kills. They've got 3 so far, but they have a player not that they need to bring up. It's Ray who needs some help here. Unique, though, a team we continuously praised on just how they rotate well, how they look good as a unit. They're in a bit of a rough spot. They're having to battle multiple teams around them. Let's see what else they can deliver here, because overall, this is an incredibly stacked endgame. We've got Avangar still alive, White Pulse, BML, FTP. It's just so many top teams.
Oh yeah, and look at how small the zone is. We only see a few teams in the zone. I believe Avangar, like you mentioned, FTP, we have 1 unique member, and then Team 15 here. And everybody else is going to have to fight it out. There's going to be so many kills happening that there's no chance we'll play at all. CZ, our lone survivor from earlier, finally goes down in 9th position. Magic here trying to make their way in cast, but they get spotted by FTP. They're using all this smokes, all this utility. But could you imagine if FTP had a few nades right now, they would just annihilate Magic.
I don't like this from FTP. There are so many of them on the same wall that one nade could have been a bit of a problem for them. Luckily, there's multiple teams shooting onto Magic as they're all gatekeeping on this circle. At phase 7, this is going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage and no one can afford to sit within it. Avangar up at 7 kills at the moment. This is what we wanted to see from them. Unique also with 7, but they're in a bit more of a rough spot here as Magic find themselves being picked apart still. FTP are there. They're trying to apply the pressure, but they've just got one member left alive. FTP are on the hunt for him. They know where Master is. Cut by Color running around the corner. He knows exactly what's up, and he puts them back down.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised that DM didn't advance on this, right? They could hear all the fighting going on, but they're content with just bunkering down, staying alive for now. And look at this, I don't think there's any compounds left in the zone. We have BML, Unique here, they're sharing a compound. FTP and DM, they're basically also sharing a compound. And then there's Avangar, who's managed to fight off everybody nearby to them, and they're honestly the teams that is chilling the most right now.
FTP, they're getting shot at by Avangar. They've got DM, who are snaking it up right around the side of them. This could be really interesting, because DM could just pop up at any point and be a real nuisance here.
Yeah. DM already with 7 kills. I honestly feel like... Oh, never mind, that's Unique. They have 7 still.
There's a lot of teams with 7 kills, though. This is crazy.
I don't think DM has 7. It's been a quiet game for them.
Oh, you think that was just an error on the screen?
No, it showed Unique.
But we were looking at DM.
A team that does not have 7 kills here. Is that welcome to the lobby getting taken out? Or white pause, sorry?
No, welcome to the lobby. Yeah, welcome to the lobby. Are under fire. FTP tried to move out of their compound. Instantly, bullets start to spray all around them. Yasha from Unique, he's just looking to med his way through this blue. And okay, you might be hoping that some of these other teams get eliminated like FTP just there. But how much longer can you stay alive? It's too much damage happening.
Let's just see here if Avangar actually managed to get higher than top 5. Oh, Unique, sorry. But no.
Oh, good timing by Yasha. So he survived the blue. He jumps out and he'll even get an additional kill. What can the rest of his teammates do though? Yasha going in for the quick first aid. How much is it going to pull off? It's not going to work out. The play zone's going to eat him alive. And that's 4 teams remaining. Storm with just Hellflyer. We've got Bemyloot. We've got Avangar. And who else is right around the corner? Oh, now we just got 3 teams. Okay, so that did work out. So now Hellfire, he's going to go for the prone and ready. BML, I believe, have 2 members left alive. And Avangar, they're up on 3. So Avangar got a big lead here in terms of numbers. Circle-wise, look at what they're trying to do already. Split up a little bit, push further forward, try and gain that ground. They don't want to be the team that's forced away because of this circle. Now, we spoke about Avangar needing to have a good game. This is a fantastic start to the semifinals for him, Larson.
Oh yeah, I'll go over Avangar earlier. I don't want to take the praise away from them, right? But in this game, they've had the compound, they've had the circle this entire game. They never have to move. And if you're a team like Avangar's right now, you should be able to close them out or at least get a very, very high spot. I want to see how Avangar plays when they're not gifted every single circle. But they might just close out this game, and that will have nothing to do with circle luck, as they do have to take down either Hellfire here or BML.
Oh, he does it. He spots him out. He finds Hellfire, and that's the snake out the way that really could have been a problem for both these teams when they started to fight, right? He could have popped up at any point and done some serious damage. Now, DGR needs to avoid taking circle damage here. Needs to be ever so careful. Look at him start to catch up with it. You shouldn't be in a position where you're ever having to pop up. BML take a lot of damage. Bandita finds the first one. Can the second one come in? It's a spray and pray all day long, but Avangar win it out.
That was so close. That game could honestly have gone to either Avangar or BML, because they're all just running around like, I want to say headless chicken inside the blue zone there, but Avangar closes it out. They have, what, 13 kills? We see Bemyloot, they end up on 14 kills. And then Storm, quiet game for them, but they do manage to get a 3rd spot with 4 kills.
Well, a headless chicken fight at the end results in a chicken dinner for Avangar. A good start for them and done on Vikendi, our opening game of the semi-finals. But overall, like you were just saying, Storm still had the potential. If Hellfire wasn't spotted out there, he could have easily popped up while those two were fighting. That was so smart from Bemyloot to have a look around and say, wait a second, is there someone else still hanging about here?
Oh, yeah. And one thing I just noticed is that a lot of our teams from top 5 in group stage, they made it in here. Unique, they were in the top 7. Welcome to the lobby. White Pulse, all of them, they were in there. And
DM?
Yeah, DM, exactly. Good stuff from these teams, showing that they're good on all the maps. And we actually missed that. Romania manages to knock 2 of their own when they pushed into Avangar in the beginning, and that fight was over before it even begun.
And that's the crazy thing, right? Sometimes there's just so much action that is impossible for us to see it all, which is why these highlights are so important, because we get to catch out some of the things that we may have missed potentially while some of the fights were going on. FromHell, a team that had a rough ride as well. They lost 2 players early on, tried to keep themselves going. Managing to stay alive till top 12 with 2 alive isn't like terrible, but it's just not the start they would have wanted. But I think the main thing we've seen here, Larson, is our top teams that we expected have delivered on the first game.
Definitely, and I just want to point out, I've mentioned this before, but whenever I go to a tournament and there's some new talent there, or like some people that maybe haven't followed Battlegrounds that much, they're like, hey Larson, and then they poke my shoulder and then like make my, it's just random who wins, right? It's all just come down to RNG, no? Yeah, and I think that's like a general conception from a lot of teams that don't really follow this as an esports as a whole. But if you watch throughout many tournaments, many leagues, it's always going to be the same team. They keep being in the top, and then with the, you know, with a few different tournaments, there might be a new upcomer every now and then. But it's going to be a lot of the same teams performing over and over again, as we can see here. A lot of familiar names.
Now, Team Unique ended with 8 kills at the end. DM19 with 8 themselves as well. 14 on Bemyloot, 13 on Avangar, but Avangar take a massive lead early on here with 43 points and a dream. Very strong from them, but all of the top 8 teams are names that we've spoken positively about at some point during the opening stages. Magic, welcome to the lobby. FeelThePain, Team Unique, DMStorm. This has showed us that the consistency is starting to pay off. Now, it's going to be interesting how it whittles out across the rest of the games. Remember, we're not going to be saying, oh, yes, this team's going to look strong every single game. That's just not the way it works. But what it comes down to is actually understanding, okay, you've had a good first game, right? You've clearly kept on what you started in the group stages. Can you now do it when we move over to Sanhok? Can you keep it going when we go over to Erangel? This is the thing it comes down to, because it's the adjustments these teams have to make when we change the maps.
Oh, yeah. And one thing that's very important to point out, consistency is key. You don't need to win every single game, but if you manage to get top 5 in, like, let's say 8 out of 10 games, you're probably going to win the tournament. This is not like a FPS tournament or a MOBA tournament where you play like a best out of 3 or best out of 1 or best out of 5. Here we play so many games to actually find out who is the most consistent team and the best overall.
And that's what we love about it, right? This means that no team can say, oh, I didn't get enough games, oh, I had a bad circle, because there is an opportunity for everyone within this. It is what it comes down to and how some of these teams can play out. Now, what I find is very interesting is that straight away we see some of these teams that like have the same style of play as what they did in the group stages. Now, I want to know if we get into day 2, day 3, if that changes around, but only time will tell. We're going to be going to a break as always, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. It has been an epic start to our semi-finals here for Europe. You will not want to miss the rest of the action. Sanhok's coming right up next.
Zombie, Darkest Night. The newest mode in the zombie universe is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding the skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
play PUBG Mobile for free.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
We easily just had our best Vikendi game so far here for the European region. The question is, can they deliver in the same manner on Sanhok? Sanhok always delivers something very different, right, when it comes to it, because it's been one of those matches where we've seen some teams really sit there and just say, do you know what? Throughout the tactics, throughout how we normally play, we're just going to make sure we get close quarters, play together, and just frag. And I think, at least in terms of how the maps worked out, Sanhok has been our most aggressive map overall.
Oh, yeah, but that's the thing, right? On every single map that we play, you have to play differently. And Sanhok, it's the smallest map. It is only 4x4. You don't necessarily want to use vehicles ever because the terrain is not suited for it. And if you go too far, since the map is smaller, you're going to run into more teams. And we all know when you drive a vehicle, you do not want to run into any teams. So the playstyle does get changed completely to comparison to Miramar and Erangel, and to some extent Vikendi, because you leave all the vehicles behind, and then it's honestly whoever can have the best fights and know when to engage. They're probably the teams that are going to do the best in Sanhok.
Oh, yes, and that's what we'll have to look down as just our standings so far. Now, just in case you've tuned in, you may have missed what happened on Vikendi. Vikendi went in favor of Avangar, and they looked very strong overall. Now, they did have some good circles, but they played it out well at the end. Bemyloot in second, but they racked up the kills across the board. And here is our bottom teams at the moment. Now, Rosq, not a single kill, nothing worked out for them. Romania, they got at least one placement point in there, and that was very difficult for them to even be able to achieve, because remember, they had lost a lot of players early on.
They killed themselves. They were beaching a compound. Two of the players left their vehicle a little bit too early. They knocked themselves, and then they were easy cleanup for Avangar. Kuma, once again, right? They could have killed that CC member, gotten a higher spot, maybe got some smoke, stayed a little while longer. But they're a team I want to see if they can manage to get those placements that they do, but also racking up kills along the way. And not thinking, all race, we can just hide away from everything. Because, all right, you might be able to place like averagely, but if you want to be on top of that pack, you cannot be too afraid to take the fights. You have to learn, all right, we need to get through some of these teams to actually like have a good chance of qualifying through.
Now, White Pulse, the only team who we did not see who've had a great tournament so far, not within that top 8. They were the outliers in that. Now, they were in a lot of fights. They even had, what, was it 3 supply drops on them?
We don't know how many they picked up, but they had 3 around them.
3 near them. At least we saw 1 definitely get picked up. So that's not an ideal start for them. But we know that they were a team that easily, we had a bad game. Cool, reset, go straight back in, and we're going to bring our A game going forward. But I got to say is, it's surprising to see that. That's why I'm so shocked about it, because we're so used to seeing White Pulse always within top 8 on a regular basis.
But that's why we talk about this before the break. We don't do best of ones. And there's a reason why we have so many rounds when we qualify for these big tournaments, right?
Could you imagine best of ones, by the way, for like all tournaments here, for like Battle Royale, for PUBG? I'd just be like, well, then people are right about your whole RNG side of things. That's why we don't do best of ones. That's never going to be a good sign.
No, you can expect that some teams have unfortunate games. You know, it could be a bad rotations or whatever, a little bit of circle luck. Like, you don't always get the zones here and there. And then, sure, they can have a bad game. But if they start having multiple bad games, that's when I would start being worried. One is okay. And we keep, like, disappearing. If that goes away, we need to do some stances.
Oh, I think we're going to start doing Ginyu Force. Oh, that's the way it happens. That is the way it happens. Now, it is Sanhok. We've got a very southern plain going across the board here, which may kind of see the northern parts of Sanhok be a little bit harder for some of these teams to reach. But with it being such a small map, it makes it that little bit easier to get further if you so wish.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I can find a little bit difficult is if you don't cross over to, let's say, the northwestern, the southwestern part, or just the big eastern part. If you wait until super late, then it might be camped. But here, it looks like it's going to end up eventually on the big main island off to the east. And then, like, the water is not as bad, right? But let's say it ends on one of the islands on the western side. If you wait till the very last second to cross, then you might get gate kept. So here, everything should be fairly smooth sailing for most teams. And, you know, people that land in boot camp, I always say it, like, you always have. But it's like, it's so fast to loot. The loot there is amazing, and you're pretty much always in a good zone from there. Here we see 2 teams at Paradise. We have Team Romania and Team FromHell. This place here is, Okay, so my experience with solos is where you see Whitey and Rob and Aeneas. It's just where everyone camps, and whenever you're in Paradise, it's just like you have to go through that little square over there, and there's so many angles you can camp. That's the only reason why I hate Paradise.
Paradise might turn into hell for some of these teams as the fights do kick off early on. We see FromHell starting to shoot down the door to make sure they can see any openings potentially, while Romania try to loot themselves up here. And both these teams, they'll need to make sure that they do have a good game this time around. So they wouldn't want to take this fight early on. This is not going to be a smart fight to take, as we always say.
Oh, yeah. And especially, like you mentioned, they had a rough first game, right? So that just makes you even more prone to not want to fight this early on.
Now, we saw DM there. I didn't quite catch who they got knocked down.
It was M19, and I believe it's in Painan.
Oh, and more kills happening here. Okay, so DM are going straight in with it. Matic, he said there's no chance of you rezzing your teammates. We're going in for straight kills. And look at this. It's just a straight bum rush.
It's not even in Painan. It's just in the open between Bootcamp and Painan. And I believe M19, they landed in Painan. And DM, they were looting compounds just like in the open down there in the center part. And they somehow clashed into each other here. Very, very interesting. Do you think that there's some like deeper meaning to FromHell landing in Paradise? Do you think they want to make a statement? Because when you said, I mean, I even said that FromHell landed there, and then you said it again. Do you think just because of the name, they're like, yeah, we're going to make Paradise ours?
Exactly. They're going to say, Paradise, you are going to be turned into our own stomping ground. We're going to call it the Paradise from Hell. I fit it all into one.
I just tried to put that into like... So I want to say I tried to think very logical. Everything has to make sense. And then you said Paradise from Hell. It's just like, no,
what?
It doesn't work in my brain. How do you put that into an equation? I don't know.
Have you never seen it though? There's, like, we have these shows in the UK where it's like,
oh God.
People go on holiday. They may be a team, but people in general go on holiday, and they call it like Holidays from Hell.
Oh yeah.
So this is Paradise from Hell potentially, if they can make it hell for the other team of Romania standing around there. But we are going to continue to see what these guys are doing. Luckily, as it stands, From Hell are backing away. They've got their loot and they're looking to make a move already. We've got Magic having a little bit of a spot up north, grabbing themselves a bit of position to work from here. And they can see the compound, which has got a bit of an empty space around it, which means, at least for now, they are safe and out of the woods, so to speak.
Everybody's just going to be chilling and looting. And this might be what happens in M19. They saw that Bemyloot landed in Painan and they disengaged. And then they were unfortunate not to run into, I believe it was, whatever it was they ran into and died. It was DMStorm, not DMStorm, it was DM99. So I don't have the accent to say. It's like Italian or Spanish when you want to say the DM99 name.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. You're going to try and make
so
me say these
when I can't
names?
say names, I just try not to even do it.
Okay, let me try my best. Deformia Meditari 99.
You have no accent.
Damn it.
It's like you would call me Matthias, but when I'm from Denmark, you have to say Matthias.
I say Matthias. I thought you said
Matthias.
Well. Matthias.
So I'd rather just call them DM99.
Matthias. I've got it now.
That's basically how you say it in Danish, even though it sounds hideous. It actually sounds hideous. If you're not from Denmark and you hear it, you're like, what the heck?
Hey, at least you're letting me get away with that. You could have thrown me under the bus for that one. But Unique might find themselves thrown under a bus or potentially under the bridge if CZ want to put some pressure onto them here. Close range fight early on, and Unique don't want to have a fight where they're going out early. This is a team we continuously praised on smart rotations, good team play, just actually having the ability to not have one player always stand out for them.
Oh yeah. Even though we have seen Old Boy from that squad pop off every now and again when he has to, or when he gets a chance to, right? That's the thing with PUBG. You can't like pop off in every game. You need to kind of have some things going for you. And if you're always like at the backside being pressured from the zone, it might be hard to stand out. And if you just, you know, get a little bit of circle luck and you have people around you, then you can say pow, 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 and then end up with 10 kills performances like he did in our group stages.
You hate to see it. An airdrop that no one's quite close to yet. Maybe BKB will say it because that's an AWM that I'm sure some of these players would love to get their hands on. And maybe BKB will find themselves taking a little bit of a line straight to it.
Oh yeah, but it happens so often, right? The risk versus reward going for airdrops in some of these games can maybe not be worth it.
Ooh, M19 firing back onto DM here, so they're trying to get some... Oh, and they're going to look to get some revenge, but it might not work out from back and forth. Thanos, he may have grabbed them Infinity Stones, but he's not got much health left to play with here. He's going to go straight in for the res, and the reason he's not messing about with that is because one of his teammates, Hate Hope, went down earlier, and they cannot afford to lose another player. But with such low health, if DM want to push on this, it could be so scary for them.
Right, we saw where they were fighting in the first zone, which is just to the east of them now. How do they end up even in a worse position in the zone fighting again, right? You would imagine that some of these teams would say, all right, we should go for position, but instead they go, like, you know, in a worse spot, and then they meet up there. Very, very interesting choices from both of these teams. I'd imagine it's because they need loot, and they're just, like, looting all these not-so-good compounds.
Nukas, he's going for it. That was some serious spray down and a half. Now he can rattle away as many bullets as he wants. He knows exactly where they are. Can't quite land them onto Thanos there. Does a little bit of damage, but not going to get the knock.
And you can see these guys do not have a lot of loot. Nukes, he was down to 4 bandages and only 1 big medkit. So none of these guys potentially have a lot to work with here. And that's why you see them like having to take this fight. They're like, all right, if we don't kill these guys, we'll end up with absolutely nothing to play the rest of the game. And even if they kill them, I don't think M19 is like loot goblins right now. So really, really rough starts for both M19 and DM99 here.
And M19, right? They just keep running into teams, no matter where they're going. It's like, can we have a little bit of a break, guys? Can we chill out for a second? Not if you are DM. They're going to apply the pressure straight away. Going to drop down the smoke to make sure they provide some cover to get across this bridge. And I really like that from DM. Don't take that risk, right? You know you could probably make that run, but just throw the extra smoke down to be cautious, to make sure you do get across with no problem. And how is FromHell and Romania still having this little battle here? We're in phase 2 now, guys. You may be within the circle, but this doesn't benefit you.
I'm just more interested in how have Romania been completely surrounded? How have they given up that much space that FromHell can literally box them in? We do have to see here, does FromHell decide to push into the building? It can be so hard to breach. And Romania, they're just holding the corners, right? So it can be very, very crucial.
FromHell don't like doors. Every door they see, it's like, yep, we'll just break through that. And it makes perfect sense, right? Because it means that Romania have that little less cover. If they do run in front of it and one of them is watching, they can come in and potentially get the kill. Now, I like this from Rob Deeney. He jumps across, going to try and be the element of surprise. Missy's popped out, done a nice bit of damage, but can he get the knock on it? Hopper who's going to fall down first. More shots coming in here, and Valen, he's looking to run a train on him. He's bringing hell, and he's bringing it to Tudor, making sure that Romania goes down, and it truly is the paradise from hell.
This is 2 games in a row we've seen Romania not even put up a fight. They've just been wiped fair and square 4-0. This is not the start you would have wanted if you're Team Romania. And it's also not what we saw from them in group stages, where they were actually like showing confidence, they were taking fights, they were winning. But here they somehow, we don't see all the actions obviously, but they got sandwiched in the house. And as they were getting pushed, they literally got 4-0. They didn't even manage to get a knock in the way. So something needs to change from them drastically.
And the thing is there, FromHell also 100% knew that they were all in the house because they weren't even worried about some of the other positions.
Yeah.
Imagine it was even a 3-1 or a 2-2 split there for Romania. They would have had a much better chance of defending. Instead, FromHell, they had it all going off in their favor because they knew how it was going to be played out.
Oh yeah. What do you think about this play from Avangar? They have compounds all around them, right? We can see here, there's 3 compounds, there's 3.
Yep.
Instead, they're just laying prone within like, what, 20 feet of each other? Not even moving. I don't know. I like when teams are proactive, right? I don't know when you're like, just, all right, we're going to go down here in this forest and not move.
Now, I really do like what they're doing, though, because what it is at the moment is they're prone. They're probably waiting for the next circle to pop because they've got a good position. They've got the loot they want. They've just got themselves a knock there. And what it also is showing is they were all looking on every single side. So you saw them, each angle, they're all looking around. So at least they're actively trying to engage, potentially, if these fights do come off. And look how many teams are close to them. Any team makes a mistake and just walks straight over them. Avangar are going to pop up, and you know at least they'll take the fight.
What a zone this is. I just see it popping on the center. And what do we have here? 25-30% of the zone is all water. Unplayable area. This is going to funnel all the teams into each other very, very, very soon. And surprisingly enough, the entire northern part of the zone was very free. So a lot of these teams from the northern time, they're going to have an easy time moving in. And everybody on the south, they might go through a bit of a hard time if they want to make it deeper into the zone.
Now, I'd definitely say, at least for the teams who are in the zone, it's not too much of a problem just yet, but you now need to make sure you're looking and saying, okay, there's plenty of teams coming our way soon. We know that there's still going to be a lot of teams outside the circle because of how centered that was. Where can we grab ourselves from ground to either gatekeep them from coming in or grab a compound that benefits us for the later games? And already, you can see, most of them are already occupied.
Yep, and it's always going to be like that when there's so much water into the zone. I hate to see it. I just know if I was a player, I'd be very sad, but it is just the way it is, right? And you have to be prepared for this, so you need to be able to say, all right, not that much to play from. We'll just have to fight our way through.
Uh-oh. Kuma back under fire. This time it's Magic. And oh no, he's all alone. Where's the rest of his teammates? There's one close by, but he's not going to be able to help him out in time. Masters ripped him to shreds already. And straight away, Kuma are down just to 2 players. Again, not having themselves together in order to be in a position to fight that off there gives them a rough start. And now it's probably going to be a very passive play considering there's only 2 alive.
Oh yeah, this is classic Kuma, right? They manage to just always get picked apart one by one, and then they're forced into playing really, really passive. And I mean, there's a reason why they barely even made it in, right? I hate to talk like this, and I just feel sorry, but if you will play this passive, if you never take a fight, if you're super scared, you might be able to get some placement points, but if you want to stay 4 alive and get the top 5 placement points consistently, you need to fight your way into the zone, you need to take control over some area. Otherwise, you just never won't get super, super far.
Now, this is really smart there from Unique. If you can see what they've just done there, they were making sure the shots that were being fired across ensures that they won't be able to let the Nox player get killed. The problem is, Old Boy then just stepped up to try and fire back, and instead, he gets taken down as well. Now, the distance is good enough that they don't have to be scared of where CZ is. They can get the revives in. But that's a lot of meds spent.
Look at this, though. White Poles are all swimming across the water, and Team Cheese here, Team Spanish Cheese, might just have spotted them.
Spanish cheese. There was a little Spanish cheese waiting for them to walk across the water. He's going to shoot them down. He's going to ruin them. I don't know where I'm going with this song.
And he actually managed to get the connection onto Kailas here, who's alone onto the western side of the water here. So he might potentially get finished off. It's going to be very, very hard for the rest of White Poles here to get the rest. And just to give some background story, the reason why I'm calling them Team Spanish Cheese is because they're called Team Queso. And apparently, Queso means cheese in Spanish, is what we were told.
We're learning more.
We're trusting Twitch chat on this one.
Hey, this Twitch chat is pretty damn cool, right? So I'm going with it. I'm allowing them to tell us.
I don't know if you've been around Twitch a lot. #1 rule is never trust Twitch chat.
I agree, but I trust our little community here. I'm down with these guys. Also, cheese in the UK, you could say cheese is an operation of making money as well. So you're like, oh, I got that cheese, man. This could be money. So they could be team money.
We think about cheese in a different way, but let's talk about some PUBG Mobile here. As TQ manages to finish off Kailas, we pointed out one of the big names here in White Poles.
Yep.
And now we have to see, does White Poles focus on making it into the next zone, or are they going to try to gatekeep TQ here? They do get a knock.
Ooh.
I don't know if that was in the water, and he's immediately getting taken down. He can be traded. But these teams here, they're not in the new zone. They have to go in. We do see in the minimap the team, well, I would say White Poles here. They're running into M19. M19, they're down a few members, but White Poles here, they were too split to be able to get an immediate response. And when they go for this rest, they're going to be so caught up by the blue that this might not be very good for them. You can look at M19 now. Even though Rosq has this airdrop, he has no meds at all to work with, and he's down to about 65 or so HP. So not looking too good for him.
Unique are being picked apart quite a bit here. Magic have rolled up on him, and that's 2 players knocked down. So multiple fights going off at this point. DM always finding themselves in fights. Do you know what? Out of the 2 games we've seen to start off with here for the semi-finals, DM's the team that have just been in every single part of the action.
Oh, yeah. And they're being hit on from both fronts here. As you can see, Unique and Welcome to the Lobby is fighting them.
Ooh, he's trying to go out all guns blazing, but instead, Welcome to the Lobby are going to hold strong. There's so many knocked players down here. They've only got a few more to find, and Welcome to the Lobby are looking to get plenty of kills. Gnarly doesn't have much health, but he's going to be able to get Jonathan. That's absolutely huge. How did he get away with that?
DM though, they get taken out early. Welcome to the lobby, managed to get all 4 of them, but only 1 member going down during that engagement. But they're on the edge, they might have to fight off a lot of other teams here. Unique, they've been battling this entire game. As they're up to 0 kills, but they've already lost 1 member.
Really
and that's
good nade.
Huge grenade.
Oh, and they're just being ripped from hell. Potentially going to hell. Only Whitey remains. He's got his other teammate there with him, but he's knocked down. Whitey's trying to fire off the nades backwards to him to say, all right, keep away. We're still here and we can fight a little bit, but it's not going to be easy. And he's reviving in the open. I respect the confidence, but this is so dangerous. You can see him looking around while it's going down. And that's because anyone, at any point, could come around the corner, come over the hill and finish him and his teammate off.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Why were they fighting up and open on the hill when they have this compound and they could keep their members alive a little while longer? Interesting stuff here, but Unique, they managed to stay alive with just 3 members. White Post, they somehow disengage from M19, but they're running directly into Bemyloot here, and Kazakhstan gets spotted. Gets taken almost down, he's stuck in the blue. We need Tari here to make a big play as he opens up onto Twice.
Oh, Poser. Nice nade, the underhand. He's going to force CZ away from him. Comes out shooting as well. Poser playing it smart off the edge of the circle. Tries to get the first aid kit off. He knows he's done a lot of damage. The play zone's wiping out some of the CZ players. Poser, he is doing so much damage here. Really smartly played. There's 1 more CZ player in the back lines. They're all trying to crouch towards him a little bit further. He's just poking them out. But here it is, Sirhat in the background's the one he needs to deal the damage onto. Glumgod comes round but gets shot in the back as well. And it's just chaos going on once again here as we get to Phase 5. Phase 5 and 6 is where it all starts to pop off.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Vice Pulse here. I assume they got taken down. DML, they lose Santas here as FTP, FeelThePain come in with the 3rd party. The blue zone is starting to push out BML from their compound. We'll have to see if they can come out ahead here.
BML looking to keep it going. Got to try and play it smart, but that damage is already ticking away. Shooting back onto FTP, but they're able to deliver. And they're just going to go on the cleanup duty. Any players knocked down, they're going to try and come finish off. Boise's not done yet though. Spraying, running, but he's going to go out to the play zone. It's not going to work out, and both teams, because of that, get finished off.
I think FTP survived with 1, but I say that and I believe he just got taken down by Storm, and now they're both out. But what I want to say is, right, FTP, they were ahead on BML, they could have went into the zone, then they could have gatekept BML. But when you fight in this blue zone, even though you win the fight, you're going to end up losing because you will never be able to get revives up. And if you get tagged just a few times, the blue zone will finish you. So if you're ahead of the other team, you have to not be in a position where you can get caught by the blue. And we can see here this circle update. You have the bootcamp there's in, and then there's only a tiny bit of terrain. Up here on the northern side, there's hills. Down at the southeastern side, there's a little swamp they can play. Other than that, there's barely any terrain. And we have 26 people alive. I expect a lot of people to die in the next few minutes.
Zandanovsky there shooting on to Avangar. He was sat ready and waiting. Did the damage, couldn't land the headshot. But he's making sure that he's going to be making it a hard time for all of them. Now 1 player left alive for Team Cheese and M19. Kuma have got 2 alive, as have Team Unique. Welcome to the lobby, only lost 1 so far, but it's DMStorm, BuzzKillBros, Magic and Avangar, all with 4 alive as more players are being knocked down across the board. So this could quickly turn around as Kuma, they're still up getting some kills here. He's trying to make it work, it's slumpy, but he's got BKB very close. He's starting to med up, and BKB are just being picked apart by Storm from afar.
I was questioning Kuma that he went back prone straight away, but it has helped him out, right? Joey might be able to get this med off though, and he will see Slumpy. I believe Slumpy just got taken down.
Yeah, picked apart by BKB. Very unlucky there. He didn't look towards his left, despite probably hearing the shots. It was a very difficult one to work with, though, because you don't know exactly which way to look or turn with so many teams in front of you.
We've lost at least Unique here as Magic, they come out ahead. They're pushing down towards Welcome to the Lobby here, but Welcome to the Lobby, they have so much cover to work with. They shouldn't let Magic in here, as we can see. They're slowly getting picked apart from Welcome to the Lobby.
Now Storm all trying to hide within this smoke. They've just got themselves inside the circle, but it's right on the edge. And look at where it moves to, just in front of them. They can't stop going just yet. M19 under pressure. Thanos is going to be picked apart as well. He does manage to shoot back onto 1. He actually gets himself 2 down there. How much more can he do? He was being spotted out from early on.
Oh yeah.
His position was known. There was 3 teams that could have shot onto him. Poser here managing to deal some more damage onto Mackie. 3 teams remain, and Avangar will fall in 4th place. Thanos, even though they knew where he was, is still alive. He's still prone and going for it. Storm just moving forward, trying to get within that circle. And if they get there before Welcome to the Lobby, they're going to have the drop on them. This is going to be huge.
I don't know if you remember Thanos just 10-15 minutes ago. He was up on the hill just above boot camp. He literally had no meds to work with and barely any HP. He somehow managed to stay alive this long. And now, as you mentioned, Welcome to the Lobby, Storm, and just a single player in Thanos here. We'll have to battle it out. There's literally no cover left in this zone. We see Gabella.
Is Thanos just going out to the zone? What's he doing? I guess he doesn't want to give himself away, but like, come on. It's not the smart way to play it out. Does he step up? No, he's gone. He's out of it. So now it's Welcome to the Lobby versus Storm. Thanos didn't want to allow anyone to have any kill points off him. Welcome to the Lobby, start off with a knock, but it's back and forth. Hellfire is able to deliver one. We're into a bit of a 2v2, and finally Welcome to the Lobby get the final kill. Play it smart. They come out of the compound as a unit, and they manage to make it work. Storm looked like they were going to be in a better position on the circle. They got enough kills, but they weren't able to hold off Welcome to the Lobby.
And this is very interesting to see, right? We have Welcome to the Lobby with 17 kills, and everybody else here in this top 7 barely has anything. We see Storm, they have 8, that's pretty respectful, but still kind of low in what we've been seeing, right? M19, 4 kills, Avangar with just 1. Our 5th place, 3 kills, 6th place, 6 kills, 7th place, 1 kill. So very, very quiet for these teams that managed to stay alive. And probably what this means is that whoever had the zone didn't meet that many teams, and everybody that went out early was because they were just battling, they had a bad zone, and they went into so many fights.
And you kind of see it, right? Because lots of players have these fights early on, which means some of these teams didn't place as highly. They've already taken away players. They've lost players. They put themselves in positions where it's harder to challenge. We saw Avangar again. They had some very nice spots and compounds to play from, but they didn't have as many opportunities to fight out here.
Oh yeah, and Welcome to the Lobby, a team that did phenomenally in the group stages. I believe they got like top 5, top 6 last game, right? And here again they're showing up with a big, big win. Ending near where they land in bootcamp. You love to see it, but also showing why they have the bootcamp, right? They can fend off teams, they know how to fight around this area, and they manage to close out the game.
And the beautiful thing about bootcamp, right, is not just the compounds within it, but also the gates all the way around the side means that you know most of the choke points where teams can challenge you from, which gives you a great shot at saying, okay, we can hold this position, we can look for here, and as long as you're aware of that spot and it is the place you usually drop, you should be able to hold on in most situations.
Yeah, you should, like, whenever you land in a spot, you should have fought for it so you know exactly how to defend it if you are so lucky to get circles there. And I mean, when you're Welcome to the Lobby, you love to see it. 47 points and the chicken dinner.
17 kills, looking strong for them. And that's because every team that came towards them, they were in boot camp and they were saying, this is mine, not yours. You want to challenge it, you're going to die. And that's exactly what happened. Now, what's interesting, right, is that DMStorm actually there in 2nd place. And this is the thing for DMStorm. They were in the position where they said, we could have had the advantage. That circle was looking like it would benefit them.
Yeah.
And then Welcome to the Lobby just came out all guns blazing out in the open. They didn't care that they were snaked. They knew they were going to come in and challenge it. M19, though, a very respectable 3rd place. Thanos just let himself die out to the circle. He didn't want to give up that kill point. He was like, it's early. No one's having kill points for free. I'm just going to let myself go. And sometimes, I don't personally like it, but it's not a bad decision, right? Because
so, I mean, I think what a lot of these players hope for is like, all right, he maybe had a first aid or 2, and he was hoping that he would get 1 higher placement point. If he could manage to stay alive, let's say 5, 10 more seconds. I mean, this wasn't the case with only 3 teams alive.
Yeah.
But like the thought behind it is not so much denying points from the enemy team, but is seeing if he can score a higher placement. Because as soon as he had to move, he had to go in the open, and he just thought he was going to die immediately.
And the thing is, M19 was a team that were in battles early on, went down at least 1 or 2 players, or maybe like top 10 teams remaining.
They lost 2 really early on, and then we saw them in like Circle 2, Thanos. He was like south of the boot camp. He was around half HP, and he didn't have any meds, and he somehow manages to come back from that and get a top 2 finish.
Why didn't he just go like this? Could have made it all work for him.
Because there's no Infinity Stones in PUBG.
Damn it. One day there might be. Now, one thing I want to say is I've seen some people in chat asking about how they get involved in PUBG Mobile as an esport. Well, for you guys at home, I would straight away recommend, obviously, check out the Club Open website, see all the information on there, but also start playing with some of your friends, start practicing, head over to the Discord channels as well. There's plenty of Discords in here. Talk to the people that are in chat and get in touch with them, and you can see it. More info there at clubopen.pubgmobile.com. Subscribe to our YouTube as well, because you can see all the VODs back. And if you are an aspiring player, you want to be a pro player, watch the VODs. Watch what some of these pro players are doing. Listen to Larson, because that's what I do. It helps me improve my game. That certainly works out. But this is still, it's such a new esport as a sense that this is easy for you to get involved in. So definitely join the Discord, start talking with people, play some games, have some fun, and maybe, you know, we'll be commentating you when it comes down to it. But for now, we're going to a break. When we come back, it's the map we all love and know. It's Erangel. We've got 2 more games coming your way for day 1. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you're back here in just a few minutes.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
PUBG Mobile for free.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
It's Erangel from here on out at the semi-final stage for the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2019. As always, you've got myself, James Banks, joined by Matthias Larsen, as we sit and understand, okay, we've had our Vikendi, we've had our Sanhok, we've seen it all play out. The question is, who is going to be the true rulers of Erangel? And this is what we love to know about it, because we see teams play so differently, right? It's just a complete, it's literally like everything we see from the first two maps. Yes, there's teams that do well. Yes, they individually are skilled, but you can just see people feel so much more comfortable on Erangel.
One team that I expect to see a lot from, especially in Erangel now, is White Bulls. They've had a terrible day. All right, I mean, I'm not saying they've been bad or anything, but they've not had a good time.
You're going home already, lads. Is that what you're trying to say, Larsen?
No, I've said that, all right. If they want to keep in the competition, they need to step it up now, right? I mean, they do a few more days, but a team that I've expected a lot from is White Bulls themselves.
Yeah.
And they've had poor performances on both Vikendi and Sanhok, but they have 2 Erangel games here to put it back, so they can end at least in a top 8 situation here, right?
And that's what it's all about, right? You have to get into these top 8 positions because, yes, okay, you just want to. We're going to see the top 16 teams, but for a lot of these teams, it's the consistency that we saw come through on the group stages. If they were always top 5 to top 8, you were seeing them. Oh, but things are a lot easier for us. We don't have to be as scared. As we get quite an eastern plane, but it goes over just towards military base. Do we get a military circle there? We'll find out ever so shortly, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
I love them personally. It makes it very interesting.
I love
makes
just
it
bridge
chaotic.
camping.
Yeah, all Larsen wants to do is bridge camp on military base.
What is more fun than just sitting in a spot, having people funnel into you, and you just kill them all and take their loot? Do you really want anything else in life?
No, but there's a lot of teams going for military base.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Okay, so TQ look, they're going further afield, so they may go ferry pier from here. Who's actually going to go over? Yeah, Unique are going to get their usual spot. They are the military team.
I don't know. I feel like Unique, they've been looting Sanhok Island, but like whenever we've had the melee base, it's usually been like Flex, Ultra, amongst others, in the melee base itself. And JMC got very, very excited, as we do have a huge chance here of having a melee base circle. It's far from guaranteed, but in about 2 or 3 circles, we'll know for sure if it's going to go north, it's going to go south. If you're a player, this is probably the circle I hate the very most, and I'm trying really, really hard not to say any curse words, because you don't know whether it's going to go north and south. So you can't really, like, you can gamble, but then you have to gamble, right? And that's never, like, a good point when you have to say, all right, we really have to risk this game trying to see if we can get something.
Yeah.
We do see FTP lose 1 member here early on. And yes, Naya, it was looking like, I believe it was FromHell fighting with Romania. Pray and pray, baby.
Spray and pray at that dead body. Make it work, make it rain, and get those kills on the board. Now, overall, right, we're seeing this happen once again. FromHell and Romania seem to love dropping near each other. And this time around, it's revenge coming for Romania. They're saying, you're not turning Yasnaya into Yasnaya from Hell. You already did it to Paradise. We're going to turn this into the Romanian island, or the Romanian compound of Yasnaya.
In Pachinki, we see PKP and Storm. They're engaging. PKP have a member that's been found out alone. PKP, they're just playing 1 by 1 by 1, taking out alone here. That's not how you play. You have to play so you can back each other up and trade, etc., etc. But these PKP members are just taking apart 1 by 1, and that's just super easy.
You hate to see it for Rob Deeney there. He is all alone. He's lost one of his teammates already. His 2 other teammates are further away.
What I also want to show in this point, James, is you saw the circle, right? It's literally as far away as possible from Yasnaya right now. All right, these people might be fighting now, but they have to go so far. And if it were to hard shift to the south, you might think they're in a lot of trouble now, but imagine that and how far they have to travel and eventually maybe have to cross the water. Oh, no.
Oh, no, indeed. Now, White Pulse are also over here as well, which makes this very difficult for FromHell to kind of fight their way through any actual space they want to try and gain here. Kuma, they've got no one relatively close to them just yet. They can loot up for a little bit. They've got some time on their hands. Unique, they've got a unique problem to have here, because they're sat there saying, well, do we go? Do we not? Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah, I'm surprised, right? Since I have this early side here, maybe you could send one guy early out to take some bridge control to see if they have some access to the northern side if you should shift. But they're all just spending, you know, a bunch of time looting up, maybe saying, all right, it's not worth the risk of potentially losing one guy later on. But you see M19 here moving out extremely early, making sure they have access to both the south side and the north side here.
I like that.
I like it a lot as well, but it's only one team that can do it, right? And
Yeah.
the only reason why they have that option is because they sacrificed a lot of loot from it, right? So let's say the circle goes really far away from them, that might end up punishing them in the end as well, because they didn't spend enough time gathering resources.
And you never want that to happen, to find yourself out of materials, out of items that you can use, out of the
Out of
med kits.
materials. You just made me think of something else, but...
We don't mention that around here. We don't mention that around here.
And I just heard James as well, because I wanted to pat him on the shoulder.
Yeah, Larson just hit me. It's abuse in the workplace.
It was a pat on the shoulder.
I'm weak.
Yeah, me too.
I'm old.
They
I'm
do
frail.
spot out Rodini here, and he gets taken down. Oh no.
VSS. Told you.
But look at what he doesn't have. He had 10 bandages and 1 energy drink to his name. Right now, they don't even have a vehicle. They're in a world of hurt. Like, they have to make it into the zone and potentially fight other teams, but they've been so occupied fighting from hell rather than just saying, all right, the circle's bad, we need to loot up and we need to go. Look at him! This guy doesn't even have bandages. He has 1 energy drink and they're spending time fighting rather than looting. And the blue's already approaching. So they might have gotten a few kills, but I would just say, at what cost? To me, I would be so frustrated saying, that's not worth it. We should just let this guy live so we can actually have a game to play.
Well, who's already going to live and play out the rest of this game, at least for the foreseeable future, is Kuma. They've got themselves on vehicles. They're going to start to move their way in, and early rotations is certainly what I like to see from these teams, especially when we're getting a circle like this. It's the unknown that a lot of these teams are going to run into, and it is that true understanding of, all right, we need to get out here early because there's going to be very limited space to work with.
Yep. Especially because this circle can contain a lot of water for a very long time. So there might not be that much playable space.
Stay hydrated.
Depending on where it goes. See Magic here, they're by the yellows near the lighthouse, they're chilling. They're kind of banking that it goes north, it would seem. They're just occupying the northern side of the zone here, saying, all right, this is going to go up to the north. We don't believe in the millibase circle. We don't like bridge campers. I say that. They turn around. They go towards the gas station to camp out the bridge here, or at least scout it out to get a better picture of what is going on. And we do see on this map here that a lot of people there are converging towards that western bridge.
Yeah, this western bridge is going to be a cluster. M19, Unique, Magic, DM, Bemyloot, Avangar are coming as well. M19 are just firing off non-stop. Thanos trying to land the shots, but it's not going to fully connect. He's not going to blow up a car anytime soon, but at least he's going to say, oi, this is my spot. Don't even think about coming here.
I'm here, don't come. Maybe it should be more like a woof woof, I'm a scary dog.
Yeah, but I'd say chickens are the ones that run away, right? The dogs are the ones that bark the loudest and keep their position. But we do want the chicken dinners, so...
But I don't want to sit here and saying woof woof woof. I like the bark, bark, bark. Way more.
Oh, Larson, our noises.
Feel the pain is feeling the pain as they're still in the blue here. Looting up the Yasnaya's container, no, Georgiable containers, and I don't even know if they're in the blue yet, but I don't think they're close to the zone. And I saw one guy taking a little bit of damage.
Yeah, they're not quite in the blue just yet, but that blue is going to be very close to them. And yeah, like you said, the rotation is going to be difficult. I love this from Avangar. 4 players, 4 vehicles. They've got a good spot. They'll just sit on top of the hill for now. They'll allow to see how this plays out.
Can I correct you? I would like to say 2 buggies is maybe 1 vehicle. Because they had 2 buggies. I wouldn't count the buggy as for like 1 vehicle. It's a bit of a handicap to be in.
Okay.
So maybe...
Well, hopefully it's not a handicap to them. They can't afford for that to happen. But DM, we talk about this team who love to fight. They're getting involved. They're getting stuck in once again. It doesn't matter where they are, where they drop, who's near them. DM are fighting, but they fight smart.
Yeah, they play off each other, right? And they've been doing so well today in both these games. Romania, they actually managed to run over one from hell. They only have 1 knock right now. And the last guy from hell is down to just a slither of health. But one thing we can notice from these 2 teams, they were fighting as Naya earlier, right?
Yep.
And look at what they have to work with now. Barely anything. With this player we saw had 15 bandages, no boosters whatsoever. From hell, they've been sent to hell
Who's
straight
going
away.
for it?
Wait, but that's think about it, right? If he gets a 249 here, all he has to do is camp the bridge, and we have to hope that the circle goes south, which it absolutely didn't do. So now he can't even camp the bridge, but they could just take boats here and probably get towards Primus and still be very fine here, or maybe up to try and cross the bridge, which I never recommend, because there's always dirtbags around. But everybody on the northern side here, which is pretty much all the players here besides Unique. Oh no, not Unique, Avangar. They're going to be really happy to see at least the first circle strength north. It could go south, but the chances for it is very, very, very unlikely. And at this point, if you're an in-game leader, you're going to say, this is probably one in the island anymore.
A bit of two-wheeling there from Welcome to the Lobby. They are going to slowly get their way in. Now, they'll bypass Ruins, potentially run into CZ, but like you were just saying there, Larson, this circle is still going to be rather difficult for a lot of teams to deal with, because with military base being cut off, that's a huge chunk already.
Oh, yeah. Like, just thinking about it, with the amount of water there's in and the military base island, which you could potentially say is unplayable area, and the fact that the chances that it'll be in the future is very, very low. And look at this from FTP. They spot out a single member from Avangar in a buggy, and they decide to all turn around to then shoot him out of the buggy and run him over. Hate to see it, but what a cool move from FTP, having the confidence to turn around and take those shots.
Well, plenty of shots are being fired. A lot of these teams rotating around. Kuma is still up and in it. We can see them on our screen. Well, we can at least see Slumpy as of now. DM have got a great compound to play from here. M19's position is going to be good, at least for the moment. It's all going to depend on where the next shift happens. But what they really wanted was to be able to hold that bridge, loads of teams come towards them, and then mow them down. Now, they did keep them at bay. They have held on to their position, but it's where they go next that's going to be the big question around how they play this out. Unique still hovering around between military base and water.
Looks like they're swimming almost.
Yeah.
And this just happens to Kuma every single game, James. They get picked apart one by one by one. They're never like, hey, let's maybe play from a compound, fight as a team, you know. Try and win out these games. They're so committed to trying to get a few placement points. And with this out, they might have a very small chance to make it to the finals. But I have to put so much effort into pointing this out. If you want to make it to the finals and go to the global finals, it's only 2 spots available. And no matter how many placement points you get, you need to get those kill points on top and be able to take team fights. With the way Kuma is playing right now, they don't stand a chance of getting top 2. And James is laughing at me saying, all right, Unique here getting a second airdrop in the water.
What
just gift it to them.
They're just like, whoever gets one of the airdrops, then the rest of them fall around you.
But I didn't notice. Who swam for the first one, James? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Because it almost looked like Naki already had a level 3 armor, but he could have looted it after this box, obviously.
That could be interesting to work out who's actually had it. But either way, they're not being contested here. They've got a bit of backup with the rest of them in water, right? They can jump up on that little island to poke off of. And we go over towards a little bit closer to Quarry, but quite a lot of open area and hilly area to play from when it comes to this, just south of Gatka. And this means that a lot of the teams are actually now outside of the circle, having to work their way in. For a team like CZ, this is probably the dream, because you've got a lot of the north to yourself here without really realizing it.
Oh, yeah. Everybody who's on the northern side now is really, really happy.
Was it FTP that came down through the blue from the north?
It was
they've gone super far south, and they're just like, no, because they could have had all that to work with.
Welcome to the lobby on FTP. They came down from the north side. FTP even lost 1 in the rotations, right? Hate to see it. But you should know this, right? In Circle 4, the circle hard shifts away from water. And the way I said it was, all right, you can see how much of the north is in and how little of the south. It needs to go away from water in Circle 4, so we go towards the side of the river, or sea, whatever you want to call it, where there's the most land and the least water in. So you could say that, you know, at some point it's going to hard shift to the north, and you don't want to go close to the water. But maybe some of these teams doesn't do their homework. I don't know. I don't really want to call them out, but very interesting to see them go towards the water when we saw how little of the military base was actually still in.
And we can't stress this enough, can we, Larson?
No.
If you're a team competing in any game, it doesn't matter if it's PUBG Mobile, normal PUBG, you need to be looking at not only your own games and looking back at the VODs that you're watching here, you need to be seeing what some of these other teams doing, where they drop, how they rotate, take stuff even that you might be able to use to your advantage. It's whoever puts in the most work is going to come out on top. That's just the way it is. And that goes for a lot of things in life overall.
Definitely. And maybe some of these teams will watch it back and learn from it. A team that is walking up a bit in this last game. I don't want to jinx them, but it's Romania. They've gotten a lot of kills, but we're down to, there's still 14 teams alive. And if Romania goes out here, it's going to be very bad for them. They're down to just Misu right now. And if I were Misu, I would be running away, honestly. There is no way that he can turn this fight around, so I'm surprised to see that he's still staying around. I say this, and it's a 1v1.
Yeah, 1v1 that he potentially could have won, but he doesn't know this because DM were also firing at him. The problem here for Romania was you had DM and Storm, two heavy-hitting teams firing on you. You may have been the king of the hill, but you got quickly toppled and taken out.
Oh, yeah. Romania, they've had a very, very poor day here. And if that keeps ending up and they get 3 bad games in a row, they'll have to do so much work in these next upcoming weeks.
And they have to keep themselves mentally strong as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's all well and good you having a few bad games, but it's the bounce back that I want to see. I want to see how these teams and how these players mentally reset themselves and say, all right, don't worry, guys, we can still come back into this. Because if they let it just get kind of affect them and they think, oh, we can't do this, then you just get this negative downhill spiral.
Look at this, though. M19, Avangar, and Unique just in a line right next to each other. The 3 CRS orcs representing here, all playing very, very similar. And look at that zone. That doesn't favor anyone playing the eastern side at all. Everybody that's stuck to the west, especially welcome to the lobby here. Our previous game winners, they're looking fantastic here.
Now, interestingly, is White Pulse. We spoke about them not having the start we expected so far today. They've now put themselves into quarry. Okay, yes, you're at a disadvantage in terms of the height. And that means you can be fired onto quite easily. But they've made a good decision where this circle's gone. It's worked in their favor, and we're soon going to see them battling out against multiple teams. Now, Romania, they've made a very solid recovery here. They had that battle with Storm and DM, but now they've managed to keep 3 players alive, and they're getting themselves meted back up, so it's not over for them just yet. And Romania are actually going to now fight once again with Storm and pick themselves up some potential kills here. They are hungry for it, as Unique are also firing. Romania, if they can bounce back here where they've got high ground to fire onto Hellfire, this could be huge.
Oh, yeah. So rough for these teams, especially the ones in the south. It's funny, right? Romania and Storm, they're both in. They're still battling it out. But it's going to be so tough for some of these teams to move into quarry, as it's a very, very hard spot to play from.
So this is Old Boy, and he's been an MVP player for us last time around.
Yeah.
He was obviously firing on to Avangar there, but couldn't see exactly what he was able to do. But just to point him out as a single player, he was one that had some of the most impact across the board. As actually Tudor, he's going to pick up that kill onto Hellfire, and that means Storm are in a rough spot. Hellfire has not got teammates that close to him. They've got vehicles, as you can see them start to charge in, but can they keep him alive? Tudor's going to go straight in for the finish. The VSS doing all the work, doing all the damage. I love to see it. My gun, my man, Romania getting the job done.
It's fine.
This is fine while Larson sits in fire.
Should I just make my gun the info and then get excited everybody shoots an info?
Hey, I'm allowed to be happy about the VSS. So many people don't like it, but I see its viability.
Yeah, and he actually hit some really good shots here. Manages to take out one more Storm member, and look at them, they're running straight into each other. We do see the kill feed, a lot of teams getting eliminated here, but it's impossible to catch it all.
No, it's also a bit of a phase earlier, right? Because of how much this circle did a hard shift over towards the west, this means that some of these engagements are forced a few minutes earlier than what we would normally see within this. But it also means that some teams are going to have to understand that, all right, some of this space may be not worth fighting into.
Mm-hmm. And we still have 14 teams in this far into the game. A lot of these teams, they're going to be bruised. They're not going to have 14 members up.
Yep.
And it's going to be a lot of snaking, I'd imagine, because there's not a lot of compounds in, and there's just a bunch of terrain you can play off and hide behind for a little while longer.
A good sign so far for Unique, who have kept 4 players left alive. The Romanians are just sat prone, waiting to see what Storm may decide to do. Kuma are taking some rough shots in at the moment. It looks like they're going to be eliminated if they're not careful, but Bandita naded himself, less than ideal. A bit of a misthrow, potentially.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Kuma is down to just one guy now since we're still on the 14 teams remaining. And look at how close we see Tudor here. He's crawling right up next to, I don't even want to try to pronounce that name, Sadovsky. He doesn't manage to get the initial knock though, and now the entire Romanian team is aware of this. Tudor has a lot of cover, and he can just easily pre-fire him and take him down. And we see Storm now down to one remaining member. On the minimap, we do see the new circle update. It pretty much centered. So the teams in the quarry, FTP, and to some extent CZ, if they go to the shack down to the west, they're going to be fine. Everybody else pretty much find themselves way away from the zone. Unique, they're still battling onto their SIS brothers in M19 this time instead of Avangar. We do see Avangar on our screen. They're down to 2 members, I believe. They're not even close to the zone.
Now, Kuma still have 1 player left alive, you saw there. Avangar very close to him, but he's just waiting it out. Gonna try and rotate him. Unique, again, just always firing whenever we see him.
But they have to go pretty far now to get in. Well, if they can make it to the bottom quarry, they can stay alive 1 more zone. DM here, always finding themselves in a good spot. It's very impressive performance from DM today.
And this is the thing, right? This is DM taking control every single game. They've looked good, and they are not scared. Now, another team we don't want to see be scared is White Pulse. They've had some really tough starts. They're looking to do some serious damage here. Less than ideal how that bounced off the rock. Just a slight
wonder, why would he
misside.
smoke that? Like, if Avangar is crashing, that would literally help Avangar to breach their house. Why is he smoking off his own compound? I don't know. But what I do know is Magic, they're going to die to the blue here. They don't have a chance of making it in. We do see Unique, M19, they just took their vehicles and sent it into the middle of quarry, hoping to survive a little while longer.
TQ under pressure. Welcome to the lobby right by him. Carrick's just trying to keep himself up. He is prone. Glumgod needs to go in for it. It's close by. Is he going to spot him out? He was ready for it. He does get it done, and welcome to the lobby. They stand strong still, but they've got teams around them, and they've also got teams below them, so they need to keep an eye on exactly where these players are starting to put themselves before they get caught off guard or caught off by surprise.
Oh yeah, we do see the new zone here. It went straight center, so pretty much everybody is going to be in the zone here. But people right now, they're batting to get control over the zone.
That's exactly it. Glumgod, he pokes out. And CZ, they were ready for it. They knew they'd been firing, and now he's going to have to use some meds.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to take as much ground as possible here. So when the new circle updates, they'll have a place to go. They're denying other teams the space. And we can just see how close some of these teams are right now. The only one who's laughing and grinning is FeelThePain, as they have the compound to work with. But if this are to go anywhere near the quarry, they're going to be in a lot of hurt.
Now, you say FeelThePain, right? I'm really impressed by them. They rotated from the north all the way down south, and then they found themselves outside the circle. They took a risk and thought, oh, it might go here. It didn't. Now they find themselves all the way back up. They're close to the circle, but they've got a compound to play from, at least for now. So this team, has moved their way around the map so well.
Yeah, and that's like, if you're not the best shot, if you're great at strategy, you can make it so far, showing really good rotations. I mean, I praise them for strategy, but I also can blame them because of the rotation to the south, so...
Oh, White Pulse, not again.
Either way, it is impressive that they managed to find themselves where they are right now. We do see the new circle. It goes straight to the quarry, so FeelThePain has to move. They get spotted by CZ, but CZ haven't been able to take any of them down yet.
This is the thing, CZ using the ridge and the vehicles for a bit of cover here. DM trying to keep themselves hidden as Unique fire on them. But Unique are going to have to get their skates on and start moving ever so surely. As White Pulse able to fire back a few shots. Aggie's been the one that picked off, and Old Boy's leaving him. There's no time to fight this off. The circle damage is going to be too high. And DM, once again, they're on our scoreboards non-stop. Old Boy finds himself one, but he's going to have to continue to run forward here. He hasn't got much health to play with, and that circle's coming in, as well as a barrage of bullets from the other side.
We're down to top 6 teams now, 20 people alive, so pretty healthy teams all around. Unique here, 3 members alive. DM are up to 4. I believe White Pulse has just 1 or 2.
Shots coming in all over the place. Old Boy gets knocked down. He's got Yasha and Kitsune left alive, but he will be finished off, which means they're just down to 2 players. White Pulse desperately trying to run forward while the rest of this fight continues to play in front of them, and they just don't know how to approach this. They found themselves down in Quarry. We spoke about the high ground that some of these other teams have, and it's massively benefiting them. For White Pulse now, they're really stuck in like, okay, how do we get out of here? How do we make sure that we're not seen?
One thing that we saw was DM, they're already up 10 kills. Amazing day and games today for them today. They're just not slowing down. They're not slowing down. Every game they're performing. If they're not getting high placements, they're getting high kills. But all these games today, they've been getting the placement points and the kill points. And this game especially.
And this is where it's quite different, right? Because we haven't seen this from DM. We've seen some good games, some okay games from them, but this is every game so far today has been solid. Even if they went out now, I'd still be impressed just on the kills alone. But 6 teams remain. CZ down to 2 players. Poker is currently bleeding out. It might be hard to revive him. As DM, they're just keeping more players at bay. They've got Unique that they keep firing onto. They've got White Pulse down here as well. And DM Matic, he's able to get it done from across the board, from across the map. Can he do any more damage here? There's players below him. They know Unique are there. And look at this, so smart. They put the cars forward, ensure they don't get fired off from the side of them, and they can continue to deliver the damage onto Unique and make sure that they're unable to escape.
I said before this game started that I wanted to see White Pulse to manage to get a 6th place with, I believe, maybe like between 3 and 6 kills, so not amazing for them, but definitely on the right track, right? If they can manage to mitigate the damage and get like top 5, top 6 finishes, they're gonna battle their way back.
And DM, 10 kills already, 4 players left alive. Yeah. This is huge. This is going to be the game for them potentially. And we're at phase 7, and there's still CZ with 1 player, Unique with 2, FeelThePain with 3, Welcome to the Lobby with 3. But overall, look, DM, they're so confident they're going to go on the hunt.
Oh yeah, I don't want to just say this is a DM show because Welcome to the Lobby. They've played fantastic today again and in the group stages, but DM alone this game, they're just looking unstoppable. They have so much confidence. They're taking all the fights. And Matic, he's a little bit overzealous, right? Because you have people behind him. Unless he has so much faith that his teammates will just completely cover his back. I'm not really sure about what you're doing here, buddy.
You just gave away your position, that's for sure. And you don't want to do that to Welcome to the Lobby. There may only be 3 of them alive, but they certainly know how to deal with this. Matic continues to take off some shots. Gnarly's actually found Kitsune, which means Unique. They may try to fight back into this, but only Yasha remains. Gnarly's just going in for the complete fragging out here, but he might find himself under pressure. Matic turns around, he delivers the spray down, and Unique are eliminated. 4 players remain, but the question is, can DM bring Gnarly back up? As Gromgod's going to be firing onto him. Pose is there as well, and Welcome to the Lobby through the smoke is able to seem to just destroy them slowly, but Matic, once again, he pops up from the side. This is insanity. DM, they're unstoppable right now. Can they pull this off? FTP have come into it. CZ's just chilling to the side. FTP hears what's going on. They're looking at the third-party dream.
They should know that DM is down to just 1 member here. There's no way they should ever let them get all these reverse off, but nobody's making a move right now. And it's FTP taking down Welcome to the Lobby. And DM here, 15 kills, and it looks like they're going to get 2 more revives and be back to 3 people standing.
This is insane. They should have never been able to get those revives off. How have Welcome to the Lobby and FTP allowed this to happen? FTP a little bit too slow of getting on top. They've now taken a similar position to what DM had, but FTP are going to be looking to eliminate Welcome to the Lobby. Only Jonathan remains. He's just healed himself back up, but bullets are coming out towards him. And DM, they're now able to recover massively here as FTP will stand strong, but now it's a 3v3. CZ still in the background. It's Apo all the way down the bottom. He might actually find himself in a spot where just because of the zone it could benefit him. As DM, they jump over the ridge. They're looking to deal the damage. And FTP, they fall back. They cower away. They don't want to get into this fight.
I'm trying to see where the zone is going here, but it looks like it just centered up. And for the most part, that is going to put DM in a bad spot. I believe they have to move before FTP. I mean, CZ here might be nuisance. You can see DM, they're trying to make the crossover. Immediately gets spotted, and he has barely any cover to work with.
Oh, Matic just gets pulled. As he drops up, he spots up, tries to get some shots off, but instead he gets taken down, and he'll probably be eliminated from here.
Yeah.
Cop by Color gets Walker in, tries to fire it off, and they are going to come on top. FTP, they get it done. DM unable to hold strong, and now it's all on to Apo, the solo player. There's 1 kill for this team. He's not even the one to do it, but he's managed to sneak his way into second place.
FTP, they had the zone, but they decide to run over the middle of the open to actually take down DM here and secure themselves at least second spot. I don't believe Apo has what it takes to make this up. But what a crazy play by FeelThePain.
Apo's like, I can hear what's going on. I don't like where I am. This isn't going to be fun for me no matter where I go. And they're obviously aware that he could be close by, but he's just keeping himself hidden so much here. Comes off firing off on the first shots. They jump on top of him. FTP take the win. A good effort nonetheless, but he grabs himself a hell of a lot of placement points. Oh, yeah. That is sometimes the way you have to play it.
You get Matic 10 kills. I don't even want to talk about anyone else.
Matic's like, I am living up to my name. I am the Matic. Automatic? You get it?
I was thinking like Maniac or something crazy.
Oh, well, it could be a Maniac with an automatic. That's even more scary when you think about it.
But let's look at this. FeelThePain, they get in first place. They have, what, 11 kills, I believe, if my math is not wrong. Second place goes to CZ. Third place to DM that had almost 20 kills. Crazy, crazy stuff. White Balls, they show a bit of life. Not necessarily where they want to be, but...
VSS. We saw a couple of kills of it. It's still happening. Still a viable weapon. I'm still behind it the whole way.
It was the same guy. It was Romania that did it twice.
I love those guys. No bias. Just use a VSS and I will be happy, I promise you.
Look at FTP here. Lily chasing down the buck and then running him over. That's one of the more BM ways to do it.
Now, FTP, I got to come back to this.
Yeah?
They were outside of the zone in the blue at one point, far up in the north. They rotate in all the way down south, and the circle hard shifts away from them. So what they do is they go back, they retrace their steps. They go up north and say, all right, that was clear before.
Yep.
We're not going to engage in this cluster where there's about 5 or 6 teams all fighting at one time. Then they got back in the zone, and they just slowly moved their way down south while firing it all out, and then they come away with a win.
Yeah.
A win that realistically didn't look like it was going to happen for them, especially with how slow they approached that final fight between DM and Welcome to the Lobby.
Oh yeah, and we have to remember, like you said, they were in the compound. They pushed up below the lobby quarry from the northern side, and somehow managed to stay alive through that entire engagement, take down CZ, make sure that Welcome to the Lobby was under so much pressure they couldn't look their way. And then when they took the fight, they looked unstoppable. They just ran over DM, which were like literally destroying the rest of the lobby. They might not have had a lot of meds, a lot of armor left, etc., etc., but, well, I mean, I literally said FTP, they could just hold the ridge and they would have won the game, but they decided to cross over to close it out a little bit faster and in style.
Larson, this is only the semi-finals, right? We've only just got it started. Day one of the semi-finals, and already these games, every single one of them has had its own unique points where we just say, wow, oh, wow. And FeelThePain, they've just rocked up with 41 points, 11 kills, very respectful at the end. 15 kills, though, for Deformia Meditari 99, and they get 34 points overall. CZ in there, and 1 kill point is all you need if you can make yourself the solo player all the way. But they were very close to Welcome to the Lobby, who had good placements and kills on there.
But this is what I want to point out, right? CZ, they haven't had amazing performances, and if they rely on getting these snake performances to do good, we won't see them go all the way, right? It's not enough.
You can't. You have to get the kills.
I really want to point out is, if you want to be a successful team, you need to be able to work with all 4 of your teammates. You need to be able to take those fights and close out games. We keep saying this. There's 2 spots. If you're not in the top 2 after our finals, I mean, in the semi-series, top 8 is enough. But then we go to the finals, where the top 16 teams of Europe will meet each other. And only 2 teams qualified for the global finals. And it's just not enough to snake it. A team there's not snaking is DM, and we mentioned Medic, but 10 kills. Absolute maniac. Almost 1,400 damage done.
He's a maniac, maniac. Oh, Mr. Matic. Overall, 1,300 damage, 10 kills. And this man, he was delivering for his team. Now, we talk about individual performances. We talk about the ability some of these people can have. But it all comes down to the teamwork, right? He would not have been able to pull that off unless he had help from his team. And they were able to do it successfully as a unit. And that's what DM had. You watch the way they were taking engagements once they were on top of Quarry. And they were able to gatekeep so many teams. It was only when it came to that fight with Welcome to the Lobby. And I think Matic, he was obviously feeling it, right? So you get into this mode, if you've ever played FPS games, you start to get a few kills and you think, this is my game.
If you
I
kill
am the
he
one.
had 10.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm just going to kill everyone.
Oh, yeah.
He just got a little bit too overzealous, pushed further forward, and then eventually got picked off.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to almost calm down a little bit and think, whew, I did a lot, but I could have done slightly better, because there's no one that is perfect when it comes to it.
I
Right?
100% agree. But that's just how it is, right? You want to
Yeah.
keep the momentum, and sometimes you do manage to get these huge performances, but sometimes it takes a game leader to say, hey, come here, come back to me, you can't go that far.
Pull the leash, like,
You know, like, snap the table, say, come back now.
he's doing this, you're like, come on, come with me, I've got the rope, come on.
Nah,
and,
I
and
thought,
he's just sat there like,
I thought about the angry mother where you, like, go over and pull the ear.
oh, like, you
Yeah.
bad boy, bad boy. There are some bad boys, but what you're going to do, we're going to go to a break when they come for you. It's time for a break. We've got one more game of Erangel. We will see you guys shortly. The semi-finals have been amazing so far, and I cannot wait to see what happens in this final game.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
play PUBG Mobile for free.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Hopefully rotate successfully and get plenty of kills and potentially win on the final game of Erangel for our semi-finals here as Larson sits there and has to endure my singing a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah.
It's not pretty, but it is funny. Hopefully, maybe, potentially. We'll see where it goes.
I just like whenever I've been singing, I don't think I'm terrible, but everybody just tells me to be quiet. They'd be more happy without it.
I wouldn't do it. Larson can sing, can't he, guys? You tell him, you let him know.
No. I have learned from experience that singing on podcast is not a good idea. So I'll leave all the singing to you. And then I'll just like close my eyes and like, just look the other way.
I once interviewed a player and my opening line for interviewing that player was a Biggie Smalls song.
I like Biggie Smalls.
There you go. I actually managed to get, where it goes, Biggie, 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 can't you see? I went, dizzy, 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 can't you see?
What we can see, though, is the placings. I believe that is overall throughout today.
Yeah.
Welcome to the lobby. FeelThePain, Avangar, DM, and DMStorm in the top 5. From these teams, we had Welcome to the lobby, FeelThePain, and DM99 in the previous top 5, right?
Yep.
So we have 2 new teams in Avangar and Storm, but, I mean, this is early on, right? It's only 3 games. I don't even want to say how many more games they're playing, but this is like probably 1/4 of the way, right? They might have 2 or 3 more games in here. So nowhere near being done. Over here, the most disappointing team for me is White Balls, just in the sense that they were playing super good in the group stages. They've had a very slow start. They have 22 points. I believe most of those points was from last game alone. Look at the kill points. 3 matches, 3 kills. That is not the White Balls that we've seen.
And that's the problem, right? It's like, is this due to this new lobby being so stacked? Are they just having an off game? For me, I would say that there's plenty more opportunity for them, right? So it can quickly turn around.
Yeah.
But it is scary if I don't see at least one game now that comes out that sees them not win it, but just have a game of their standard.
And more than 3 kills,
horrible.
right?
Yeah, and we're not being horrible here, guys. Like, we're saying what we saw from them in the group stage was so good. And not just on getting kills, but just the way they played. Because they didn't win out every game. They didn't make it look real easy for themselves, but they just played it very smart.
Yep.
And so far, they may have had some rough circles. They may have had problems every now and again, but I want to see them be able to get over this and perform on this final game. And that's not because I favorite them. I just expect more overall.
Oh, yeah. And like we mentioned, Kayla's big name in the mobile scene in general. Been big in multiple games, so...
Yep.
Just him alone, right? He should be able to frag. He's more 1 kill per game.
Yes, definitely. And that's the problem.
It's not that simple, of course, I know, but...
It's just that I think some of the teams they're running into as well is playing so differently from what they've been able to play against.
Oh, yeah, like we did also see that they had 2 teams in Yasnaya. They landed there. They had Romania and FromHell there. Funny enough, Romania,
for no reason.
Romania and FromHell, they're fighting each other a lot. And White Balls, they're like, all right, we'll loot up and leave and let you guys do all the fighting. But that might slow them down, right? They were forced to loot closer to each other. And so forth.
Yeah. and that's sometimes just the way it goes. But what it can also go into, guys, is you subscribing to the YouTube channel here for the PUBG Club Open Mobile Tournament. Because remember, guys, if you want to see anything, maybe some of the other regions, for example, you might be watching Europe now, you don't have time to catch all the other events live, you can head over to our YouTube channel, you can drop subscribe, and what that will do is, first of all, make me and Larson very happy, but also give you a wealth of information to see what is exactly going on in these other regions and who you might be seeing face some of our European teams once we get to the grand finals.
And we do know that some of the other regions are bigger, right? For example, I skimmed over the NA region, and they had tons of big organizations already picking up teams, and all these like big esports organizations that I've seen, they were actually topping the leaderboards over there. I mean, we don't see that many organizations here. We have a few, but in a lot of the other regions, it might be a little bit bigger than what we've seen here, right?
So I'll say this, right? And this is kind of like fair game with it. If you're an organization looking to pick up a team now, you should be looking at the teams we have remaining, right? Not the teams where you start too early at, say, the 32 stage. Because at the 32 stage, we're still learning so much about these teams. We don't exactly know if they can perform on the highest level all the time. And so overall, sometimes you've got to make sure that you're making a smart decision when it comes down to it.
Yeah. We do see a very neutral plane in the sense that it starts from the bottom right and goes up straight through the middle. The only one who's going to have a little bit of a rough time here is if you loot around Quarry, you loot around Ferry Pier and Rosq, but pretty much everything else is very accessible. One thing I want to see, do we have 2 teams in Vikendi again? Do we have 3 teams in Yasnaya? Or where are these teams going to clash? Because a lot of these teams, I would say they can't really afford to go down early. They don't want to fight in these early stages. What we do see thus far is unique. They have Sanhok military base for them once again alone. They don't land in the Isle of Airport, but they do take Nova instead, because nobody has been landing there, so why not? Kuma, they're back in Multa. BML, I believe they were the ones that got destroyed in Vikendi. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was either them or BKB. Either way, they're looting shelter, they're looting prison now. BKB, they're going up towards Kameshki.
Oh, again!
Exactly the same circle, almost, just slightly less.
A little bit more to the east, yeah. It's covering more of military base.
But look who's fighting early again. We're in Lipovka. It's Team Romania. And who are they fighting? It's not FromHell. I see the FromHell guys a little bit off to the west. But I had to make sure because it was only white posted in Yasnaya. They're fighting CZ now. And Romania, they cannot catch a break early on in any game, James.
Now, do you think, right, it's something about these teams towards the bottom of the table that just seem in their mind, right? Not like they're bad, but it's like in their heads they're thinking, well, we need to go in for these kill points. And they're not playing it as smart as what they should do overall because they seem to always be engaging in fights. It doesn't matter where they drop. If there's another team nearby, they're like, oh, let's take the shots now. Personally, loot up a little bit, make sure they're not getting close to you, but then just split away. There's just no point now.
But that's the point, right? Romania, in Yasnaya, and FromHell. It's such a big city. They don't have to fight each other. They have the option to disengage and loot up all they need and be fine. But they actually choose to fight. The same with Paradise. Romania had like so much control over Paradise on Sanhok, but they chose to just like sit AFK in a building and get sandwiched and then just get wiped. So I feel like there's just personal decisions or like team decisions that are lacking, right? And once again, sorry.
No, that's cool.
But I feel like they're going to be here and fight again rather than saying, all right, we're going to loot up and disengage, right? They keep on fighting.
And this is the problem, right? If they do continue to fight like this, it's never going to work out for them because even if you just don't lose any players, you could still lose some precious meds, you could waste some bullets, some utility, for example. The problem I had with the main one on Paradise that we saw on Sanhok was they ended up fighting. They managed to keep FromHell and let them back away. And then FromHell just came back and said, you know what, we're just going to take you anyway. And it will only get you so far as we're seeing. The teams that don't fight ridiculously early on, I mean within phase 1, within phase 2, and you play it smart, they're the ones we're seeing fight out to the end.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, Romania had a decent game last time around, but they had so little to work with. And your point is very, very good. If you have utility, meds, even armor and bullets, you have a bigger chance of actually getting further into the game than if you didn't have any loot. Who would have thought?
And I didn't even just say that, right? I'm glad you pointed out about the armor, because the armor's a good point as well. You're taking damage, it gets costly on it. You can't afford for this to go down. And again, FromHell, it's not Romanians this time. It's M19. They're coming around the corner, all guns blazing. Thanos is going to get himself his first easy kill. Now, he has taken some damage, but there's no one from Hell close to even back their teammate up.
The worst thing is Deuces had the drop on Thanos, I believe. And Thanos just turned around and destroyed Deuces. FTP were looting here last time around, but somehow Magic is here now. I haven't paid enough attention to know where FeelThePain have dropped, but we do see some of the teams changing it up a little bit, taking different loot spots.
And we see this a lot in mobile. A lot of these teams, they have their designated drops, but if a plane looks too bad, they will quickly change things up. They have no problem with mixing it up a little bit. They're not as stubborn, I would say.
Oh yeah. For FTP, they went into South Georgia Pool. They probably saw there's no one, and maybe they could feel like they were getting contested in containers. And if you ask me, James, I'd much rather take South Georgia over the city containers. So much better loot in those front sixes and those back sixes.
I agree completely with that. And that's the thing, right? Some of these teams sit there and say, all right, cool, we've got our spots, we'll go for it. And they don't actually adapt. So there's a bit of the opposite. There's some that do just completely want to change it up, have no problem switching. And there's others who stay so stuck to their guns that actually they don't get the guns they would like.
And from my experience, from PUBG PC and mobile in general, is the teams that are willing to adapt, to make these changes and not be stubborn, are often the teams that actually can play the best, right? Yeah. They're not locked into one play style, they adapt, they can play diverse, and that is really what separates like a good team from a great team, is being able to take different landing spots, even dependent on the plane, or just somebody decides to hot something and say, all right, we don't care, we'll just go over here to South Georgia instead of taking the containers, this is fine.
I'd love to see an overview of the map now. We're at 6 minutes to understand what some of these other players are doing and where the teams are moving on rotations.
Melee zone.
Because I want to see if some are really thinking they're going to rotate in early. Are they still waiting? Because you get plenty of time, but it's still very dependent on where this zone goes, that it's such a hard one for these teams to guess.
Yeah, I do 100% agree with you. These are the hardest zones to play. Either you want to feel like you commit to the northern side, and then if you got hard to the south, you have to play the game so far behind. Or if you commit to the south, you're like, we can be either great or have a hard time to get back across. And if you play close to the water, right, you're kind of in between. You're not doing great, you're not doing terrible. Hopefully you can save a few boats, but if you move in late, then you're kind of just locked to playing on a different side. And if the circle decides to go opposite of you, you're going to have such a hard game to play out, even no matter what team you are, right?
And a team I always love to follow is Team Kuma, who are at the moment just away from Milta down in the south. They certainly need to step things up just a little bit. And I got to say one thing, right, is big respect to Kuma as an organization as well. They dropped us a little DM and they said, we love the entertaining commentary, we like the style, they're enjoying it. And remember, guys, you guys at home, if you've got any feedback, you want to say what you think about us as commentators, feel free to just hit us up on Twitter, reach out to us, just drop us a message.
Yeah, you should definitely say if you want James to sing more or sing less.
No.
Let's just get that out there real quick.
They can choose if they want to sing.
Yeah, they can say if they enjoy the singing or they want less of it. Feedback is important, guys. You can also come to me and say bad things about me. I'm very used to that.
No. But no, that's honestly what it is, right? We love this. This is our job. It's a profession. We enjoy every second of this, but also we want to make sure you guys are enjoying the show as well. We like to have a bit of entertainment mixed in with a bit of solid commentary on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
And what could be a solid position for a team to take is where Romanians are going, and they run straight into a firefight again. It's DM ready and waiting. Could it be 4 swift kills for them, and they've not really had to work for it in comparison? Only Rambo remains, and he's looking at being stuck between a car and a wall and sit there saying, well, all my teammates have gone.
One thing I want to point out is look at him. He has 1 energy drink. They landed in Lipovka with another team. And this is all he has to work with. He has absolutely no meds whatsoever. And he just lost all of his teammates. Not the way you want to start off your game if you're any team.
Oh, gets away with a knock. Can he get a kill? This is where DM needs to provide the cover fire. They cannot allow their teammate to go down. They don't want to afford this. They've been able to hold on strong so far. The pressure's being applied for Rambo. He's looking for cover. He's coming out swinging, but it's not going to be enough. Gnarly slaps him down. That's the whole of Romania being eliminated, and DM are sat there once again with frags galore, and we've only just hit
Look who's getting more airdrops. Unique, last game, we're gifted airdrop after airdrop. And once again, Yasha's picking up one early here. Getting shot by PML, but that is way away, and he should be fairly safe over there. And the circle is still, like, this is mostly to the north, but I would say if this circle had shifted once or twice to the south, this could still be a melee-based zone.
Oh, could you imagine?
Oh yeah, it's possible. It's very unlikely, but previous game there was barely any land, and here there's enough that it could actually be a melee base if it really hard shifts, at least once at a time. The next time it has to hard shift south.
TQ are going to be pretty happy as well. They've got an easy route in, but it's whether some teams will try to gatekeep them a little bit.
Spanish cheese or Team Queso? Queso? Queso.
Queso.
Queso. Spanish cheese. And now I'm speaking with a Swedish accent.
But I'd say you just threw on a completely different accent then.
Swedish people don't agree with me, but I'm Danish, right? And if I were to speak in Swedish, it would sound just like this. And then they all disagree with me, James. They don't think it's anything like this at all.
I'm not getting involved in this. I can't say anything. I can only speak one language. You're allowed to do it.
I have a bunch of different accents that we probably shouldn't go into.
You like your job. You don't want to get fired. We'll keep it nice and PG.
Aww. Welcome to the lobby. They're finally leaving. No Jochipol here. Our #1 team throughout today. They've had amazing performances throughout these previous 3 games. Thanos.
Ooh. He's walking into multiple damage. Yeah, he gets... So Nagy finishes him off. Yasha started off the shots onto him.
Oh, look at...
What?
He just shut down.
slipped.
No!
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 You hate to see it. Thanos has been eliminated, but Sorka, he's the one who took the real rough ride.
Yikes.
He just jumped off the side, slid
I'm gonna
down
call
to
that a
his
big
death.
yikes.
Biggest yikes
What
of
are you
the day.
doing, Sorka?
His
You know,
teammates
instead of
like,
Sorka,
huh?
what about Sorka? He fell down and killed himself.
Oh, man.
Oh no. Hopefully they can get a rest up here. But we also saw that Doctor, he ran into the same glasshouse building as M19 was in. But then M19 disengaged, and now Doctor's in a vehicle? I'm not entirely sure what is going on, but a lot of weird things happening around the lighthouse area. And a airdrop is falling in on the hill here where the M19 player Hey to Hope is. You see Kuma, like last game around, they were around the eastern bridge. They see BML crossover, stops, takes a few shots. TQ here, Spanish cheese, they're flying in, sending it right next to M19 and potentially driving in towards BKB, even though he might have left just in time.
White Pulse as well. They've met Avangar. 2 players being knocked. 3rd player knocked. This is not good at all. Players being eliminated. White Pulse. They cannot have
They're
this
out.
keep happening.
They're out.
Oh my god.
Aye, aye, aye. We didn't see what happened, but we assume they either drove into this compound or drove past it and just got completely annihilated. They're gonna have to look back and think about what they've done today and how they can approach it better for tomorrow.
Got to keep their heads in the game, man. And we keep coming back to this, but it's not because that we're being overly harsh on them.
But
it's just so different from what we saw in the group stages.
But also look at this, right? M19, they had position over the lighthouse and everything, but because they had to rest up Soccer, they completely given up their spot in the zone, and now Unique and Team Queso has taken over that area, and M19 is in a really rough spot. CZ might have been knocked by DM here if he was driving along the coastline. He's more than likely going to bleed out or get finished. What?
Unique just flying off the side. They've got
Flying
a plan.
under the side.
They've got a plan. They're going to try and make it work here. A bit of a different
Oh,
approach.
their vehicle tipped and he has to unroll it, but now putting it in the water. Look at that teamwork. 2 buggies just working together, unflipping their homie.
That's really well played. I love that.
And we see Medic here. He finishes off the knock guy on the beach.
Oh, BML, they're starting to come into storm here. Shots being fired across. Enzo's going to start off with his first knock. Nicely done, but they've also got Magic taking shots at the same time. And here we go. Frogo Lord, he's coming, guns blazing, 3 kills, looking for more. BML, they get shut out of it. And Magic, they lended a bit of a helping hand out there to Storm, firing from the distance.
Oh yeah, I do think they killed off one of the Zone members, so it was like a love-hate relationship. They helped a bit, but they also took something away from them. And yeah, Storm standing strong, but BML, they decided to crash in Circle 3. I mean, it happens, it's okay, but when you're not prepared for those breaches, then you can get taken out. We see Unique here, they're content with just staying in the zone. They probably spotted the TQs around this Wizard Tower, this glass house. And TQ should be very, very aware of Unique since they heard all the vehicles, the unflipping, all that stuff. So these guys are just chilling. Unique though getting into the vehicles. Maybe they didn't see TQ. We'll have to wait and see how that works out. FTP though in a really good spot, and it looks like they might be getting breached.
Always FromHell that were rolling up on them. Bit of a back and forth. Balak, no problem for him to go down. Whitey's gone as well. And there we go, Magic started to come on to Storm, so they knew they did some damage. Storm are down 1 player. Magic's got the full squad here, ready and waiting. They're going to try and push forward on this, but Storm have got some nice positions to play off of here. Hellfire can pop out of that door anytime he wants when Frogo Lord has to get involved in the fight. Nades come out towards them, and they're just blowing the doors straight off the buildings, trying to have a little bit of a bit more area to spot from and see through where they might try and push. But they're at a bit of a stalemate here.
ProGodLord, he could make a huge difference here.
ProGodLord trying to hold on. Gets himself a lot of damage done. His teammate gets the knock onto him. ProGodLord needs to be careful though. He's taken a hell of a lot of damage, goes in for the finish off, but he's not going to be able to get it done. His teammates now starting to make it closer, and they know this is the time to strike. Magic have the potential to get the revives off, but they can't afford to allow that to happen if you're Storm. Storm need to go very soon. They're taking far too long. What are they playing at? No confidence.
Very interesting choice here to go for the rest rather than trying to close out the fight. And they just leave it all down to ProGodLord. One thing we did see in the minimap was the circle is hard shifted up to the north, and all these teams that have played down to the south, they're in a really tough spot. ProGodLord though sees them all move around. He's trying to throw his nade, only connects a little bit of damage onto Ray here. But Storm here, they look like they were committed to the fight. They managed to get 2 knocks, and now they've reset. Are they just going to do the exact same setup? There's no way that ProGodLord here is going to have the same impact.
No, it's not going to work out. They're well aware how close he is. He's also making a lot of noise running around there. Fear pokes out just a little bit, but doesn't want to overextend going
He's nading. A little bit too far.
Not going to touch ProGodLord just yet.
The blue is going to start moving though, and it is going to move Magic away first, but how are these teams going to react to this?
This is such an interesting battle. It's like the battle of the minds, and at least for Magic, they've won it out so far.
You know what I want to see? One guy baited in a vehicle while the other 2 guys like try to fight off Storm members here. You can bait them by driving and then maybe win out the fight. It's a risky play, but...
Oh, the energy drink's being popped there, so he might be going for it very shortly. Because we've got Avangar taking on CZ here. 4v3, and good positions being had by Avangar as they start off strong with the first knock. They're looking for more, and Hoka's got to be able to reply up on the top ground. He's got Serhat with him as Hokat goes down, and now it's going to be all up to Serhat to try and hold on to this. Nades. It looks like DGR's just going to be going it single-handedly.
Nate's finishing it off. Very well played by Avangar. They've had a heck of a day. Showed us, I said, I want to see Avangar show up, and they have. Another team that is showing up right now is Magic, as they finally take the fight onto Storm here. And surely Hellfire is going to go down, and he does. They'll have plenty of time to pick up Magic here, and then hopefully they can get up to the hill to the north of them here and make it into the next zone. BKB have a few buggies to hide behind, but ultimately not in a fantastic spot. FTP, they pressed this Pachinki hill, but look at that. Welcome to the lobby, not breaking a sweat. They said, all right, you won the last game? No, we want to keep #1 spot, FeelThePain.
We're holding on to this position, and we're going to pick up all the kills. Now, we're only at phase 4, and we've got 9 teams remaining.
That's insane. one team that we keep mentioning and I keep mentioning is M19. Here, they're in an amazing spot in the zone. They have nobody behind them. They have so much to work with. And if they don't get surprised by BKB, which there's no way they should be after we saw that nade come out, they're in a really good spot. If this circle doesn't go absolutely crazy, they could be favorites to win this game again.
Now Kuma's still in it. Not a bad set of placement points for them. They've got 4 alive still as well. One of the few teams that does have 4 alive. MG, though, they're running straight onto M19, nearly getting Master to knock one of them with a card. Fear's come a little bit late to the party. M19 getting away with the first kill, looking for the second as well. Damage being done, but what can Fear deliver? He's being pressured, he's being taken down, and that is Magic eliminated. M19, they were in a little hut. They felt all secure.
But look at this. If you look at the zone, it updated, went far away from the shack, and these guys from Magic, they decided to move too early instead of waiting for the new circle. So they actually drove away from the zone to then go and die to M19. Very, very questionable timing, if you ask me, from their timing of rotation and where they went to.
Yeah, a bit of a crazy one, that. M19, though, going to be loving life for the kills they were gifted there. The Cheese team having a bit of a battle with Kuma, who are going to come out on top, at least for now. Gochi's able to reply at least with 1, but how much more can he get done? DM, a team that we continue to talk about here over and over again. They've just got themselves pushed up on this hill, but they're very close to BKB, and Kuma still firing off. Tabsy, he's able to get the damage done, but his teammate's going to be eliminated while that's going on, so no revives happening, and Kuma once again finding themselves just on the edge of elimination.
Top 8, not enough to recom and low a lot of points. Once again, they don't have that many kills. As soon as they have to fight, they fall apart. Here, BKB is just meters away from DM. DM is way too careless.
Stalker, oh no.
And the nade!
Brilliant nade coming out. Joey jumps up from the prone position, able to spray down one, but instantly DM, they're not going to fall for that long term. They're ready and waiting. They understand that, okay, there could be team around here, and they're going to go in for the finish-offs here.
They know he's around, but they don't know exactly where he is. We have a 2v1 going on here. Makis leading the front, actually Nukes is leading the front.
Very smart there by Nukas.
They do lose Medic though, the absolute star player from the last game. And that's going to be a lot of trouble for DM here, as we see all these teams running out of places to play, so they have to use their cars, their smokes, hoping to stay alive a little while longer.
Avangar are in such a good position that they took this compound away from one team that was posted up in it. Now they've been able to hold on to it. The circle's worked out for them. FromHell are picking up some kills with nades. Rob Deeney's still within it. That's actually not a bad placement position for FromHell, considering all the other games they've had so far today.
Oh yeah, and they took out M19 and can use their vehicles for cover. And it's actually pretty okay here until I believe it's TQ decides it's time to go and find him. But once again, our top 5, same names as always. Welcome to the lobby, Avangar and DM. And 2 new contenders, but these guys are showing why they're the best. And Posa manages to save off Scream, and the other guy here, they just have 1 vehicle, few smokes. See, this is a big mistake. They could have used 1 or 2 smokes, but end up using 3.
I think they bit off a little bit more than they can chew here. They took the fight onto DM, and now they don't really have much cover. They've had to spend a lot of utility, and DM have a massive advantage firing into them. Rob Deeney, he's making sure these cars are going to give him as much protection as possible by popping out the tires, but is it going to be enough? He just wants to solo prone his way through it, but everyone knows where he is.
And this zone has to have Avangar leave the compound. Everybody who's playing the south side, they have to leave the cover of the hill. And Avangar is sending in straight to the center of the vehicle. Alright, Gonzo, if you can stay hidden from the south, you might be alright. Otherwise, this could mean problems for Avangar.
It's time for a bit of tree hugging. Find your closest tree, hug it tightly, and make sure it provides you enough cover. The vehicles could also provide a good amount of cover here for Avangar. If you see them go for this central position,
they have to worry about the
dominance now.
I know, DM here, they're moving into Avangar. FromHell is holding off TQ somehow. TQ running in the open, but he's just taking them down, and he manages to almost finish them. 2 knocks already. We're still on 4 teams, so I don't think TQ has been taken out fully yet. Look at these nades back and forth. Nobody gets taken down. Everybody's using
he
all
didn't.
of their utility.
He eliminated TQ. They only had 2 alive. Oh. That's huge. Now he goes down as well. 3 teams left remaining. Avangar have a huge advantage in this. DM have got themselves in a nice spot, but for how long? Because everyone knows where they're sat. Great use of the cars here. Mackie's just been spotted out by Gnarly, but now Gnarly's given away his position, so it's this bit of battle of who's going to take which fight first. DM have a bit of the high ground here. Welcome to the lobby, have limited cover, and they've spent a lot of utility early on. Nades going out from Gonzo, and if that lands, that could be huge, and it's exactly what happens. Gonzo barrels it out, and he's looking for another one. He's not allowing that revive to come in. Welcome to the lobby, you're actually going to pick him off, so they'll take away that kill point. Swipe stolen, and have some of that.
I like how Gonzo's making sure they're not getting flanked right now. Avangar could lose this game if Welcome to the Lobby decides to sneak up behind them.
Bandita. Oh my god. Snuck all the way around. Gonzo can continue to apply the pressure. He puts the Molotov down. Bandita can do so much damage here. They are ready and waiting for Bandita to pop over the top.
Bandita shot at Welcome to the Lobby, I think.
No, Bandita knows. Bandita's on forward to DM. Mackie finds himself knocked down. Bandita has to be careful. Prone's up and ready. Maybe bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Poser's looking for it. And welcome to the lobby. With 3 players left alive, they are actually standing pretty strong here. Because they're being left alone as this other fight continues to go on.
Oh yeah, and they might be the spoiler that can take this game away from Avangar. Avangar is looking fantastic though. They're in the zone. If only they could have taken out DM right then and there, their game would have been so easy. But now, welcome to the lobby. They might just ruin it if they can't defend to, you know, hold off the side.
Now, I love this DGR is playing at the back a little bit with the car as some cover. They've got a good enough split on here because he's the one that's probably least likely to be eliminated. The other 2 are sticking together. Bandita a little bit further forward. Welcome to the lobby. They're just not moving. They're just going to stay still because they know from their position that it's actually not as bad as some of the other teams who are going to have to move first. Bandita making a lot of noise, and still, you should know now where the DM players are. He's got back with his teammates, and DM, they're just going to snake forward here and hope for the best.
I actually kind of like what Avangar is doing to some extent, that they decide, all right, there's 2 teams left, we can't just all spread out and play one by one. So they grouped up together here. But it looks like they might have ignored DM unless Bandita can hold this northern side of the zone. He turns around at the wrong time though.
No, he's looking forward again now, Bandita. It's all going to come down to who finds who first. And actually, will the rest of Avangar step up? Nukas starts off with the first, goes in for the elimination. Looking to take down Mackie as well. This is huge. Quickly, the tables have turned, and Nukas has done it all on his own. Hasn't gone in for the kill yet. Mackie trying to make sure he's got some cover from the tree. And DGR and Gonzo, they've got a quick decision to make. Nukas, how much more can he get done? He's finally found that he will be eliminated. Gonzo's able to do it, but Warfarin is just around the corner.
Welcome to the lobby. Has seen 3 knocks. I want to see them go aggressive now. If they want to close this game out, they had a really big chance. But I mean, they are just letting Avangar rest now, and they're playing so passive. I'm not a fan of this, James.
Yeah, welcome to the lobby could have potentially cost themselves the game now. Too passive, too scared. And now Avangar are back in a good spot once again. Warfarin's just going to be waiting. More and more time goes by. He knows on him, he doesn't have to do anything from this position. The best he can hope for is just some extra kills. He'll potentially the third party while the other 2 teams go head to head.
Yep.
And welcome to the lobby. Could be going for back-to-back wins as well, Larson. No, 2 wins in a day. 2 wins in a day.
2 wins in a day, yeah. But I believe that FTP won our previous game. But yeah, they did win the Sanhok game, so they could look at 2 wins in day 1. And if you have that beginning, it just means you have so little pressure on your shoulders, and you can kind of just, you know, actually put a lot of practice in, instead of saying, all right, we really need to try super hard to get every single point we can. Avangar, they need to decide, do we decide to get off DM, clear them from the game, secure at least 2nd spot, or do they try to sweep out Welcome to the lobby here? They're all really, really close to this DM player. And he could potentially be a huge spoiler here, right? Avangar is not putting any effort right now into specifically getting rid of Vafarin. Could potentially cost them. I like, if you know there's 1 player, maybe commit a little bit of resources to take him out, secure 1 more placement for yourself, especially when there's this few players left. But everybody's just okay with slaying prone. Welcome to the lobby. Probably has the best side of the zone here. When some of these smokes disappear, it might just be a shooting gallery and the Avangar players are going to get taken down. we'll see. It looks like Gonzo is just out of line of sight. But once again, not a lot of places to play from Avangar and DM at this point.
It's just that very slow waiting game. Gonzo, a few shots fired up towards him.
Not paying attention to DM though.
DM's going to jump up, and that's exactly what happens. He goes in hungry for the kill. DGR's not going to move just yet. He'll be eliminated, but it's Welcome to the Lobby that picks up the frag. Screen is just spraying it out, but DGR comes alive. This benefits Warfarin so much here.
I don't think Welcome to the Lobby will be able to get the rest here. DGR's clear eyes on it, unless he crawls all the way down. And even then, it's super risky. I cannot believe that they let DM stay in this for so long. DGR just blindly spraying where he got the original knock, hoping to get a finish.
Warfarin just took a ton of damage from the circle, though. He's not keeping an eye on it. Or is he just going to let himself die out? Or
they're also letting Welcome to the Lobby rest here. Big mistake from Avangar. And is he taking damage from the zone or shots or both?
They're so scared to take this fight. More shots coming in. Avangar managed to get it done. More frags coming up their way. Warfarin comes into the fray. Can he make it work? It's a true back and forth. We're now into a 1v1 in terms of the players that haven't been locked. DGR's just spraying recklessly. He has no idea as Mackie gets finished off. DGR's got to be careful. He's running out of bullets. He's just pulling out his gun. He's spraying wildly, and he still can't make the shots connect. He has to be oh so careful. This is just such a chaotic 1v1. Neither of them have fully any idea. One gets shot down. His teammate was right close to him. Poser gets it all at the end, spraying frantically.
I was like, Poser, you know exactly where he is. You just have to stand up and shoot him. I would say a little bit panic from Erangel there. They do manage to secure second place. And like I said, 2 wins in day 1 for Welcome to the Lobby here. And they didn't have a single bad showing, I don't think. Like top 7 in all 4 games today.
They were number 1 before this, right? They had the most points overall anyway. So this is just a huge win for them. I got to say, both Avangar and Welcome to the Lobby.
And DM. I would say DMS. Oh,
they're just wimps in that position. Both of them are wimps. Because DM didn't do anything wrong, right? You had 1 player left alive. You can only do so much. But for Avangar and Welcome to the Lobby, that was who's going to be less scared first. Because it was like so many options where they could have taken that fight earlier and finished it off.
I agree with you. And one thing that I've seen a lot in my career, and what's something that's not as big on mobile is, when you see knocks, right, when you can say to yourself, all right, this is a 3v1.
Yeah.
You need to advance on this, not let them rest. But a lot of these times, we see these teams, they just lay prone. They don't say, okay, we have a big numbers advantage. We can push in this. And I think that's a big mistake. And that's kind of why you call them a wimp. And I do agree with you. You need to use numbers advantages to close out games. Instead of waiting for somebody to potentially make a mistake or you wait to get lucky with the zone. Imagine if the last zone went away from Welcome to the Lobby there. They might not have won the game, but every circle kept landing on them, so the other teams had to run into them. But that's just like, you know, depending on luck, depending on circles, where you can say, all right, we see they've been knocked. We have a big advantage. Let's just go and clean them out now. We can close out this game without relying on circles, without hoping that you get a few more circles in you.
Well, it's been a crazy first day for our semifinals. I even got
I'm so excited,
Yeah, it just made me so happy. I got so overexcited when I thought Welcome to the Lobby, we're going to get back-to-backs, but still 2 wins out of 4 games is more than impressive. I need to work on this memory as I get older. I seem to get stupider. But overall, you got to say, the teams that we expected, other than White Pulse, delivered to the level we imagined. And Avangar have looked better now, today, than any of the previous days we've seen. You've got to say that.
Oh, yeah.
DM is definitely the MVP team
One
as well
thing
today.
I want to point out is also, okay, so if you ask pro players, they might be able to scrim against these guys and know it as long as we get closer and closer down, right? And I would say to some extent, it's easier to play against good players if you're really good yourself than it is to play against bad players that does really, really random things. Because when you play like competitive games, it doesn't matter, PUBG, anything, you read your opponents, you know what to expect, and you kind of make a plan. But when you're playing against some of the teams that are not at the same level as yourself, they do some things that you would not necessarily understand, and that could punish you, right?
Now look at this points. FromHell, TQ, and Kuma all up there within the top 8 for the first time for some of these guys. And it gives them a lot of a boost that they needed after a pretty rough day. So fair play to these guys. But welcome to the lobby. Avangar, DM19, all very consistent, all consistently getting high placements. This is the level I want to see going into the next few days. And what a stacked lobby it has been.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm really, really excited, right? To have this level of PUBG in the semifinals is insane. Just imagine what the finals going to be like, because these teams, they're so competitive right now. And it's been a pleasure to watch today.
Rob Deeney, though, from Hell, he got 5 kills, and 2 of them was on the TQ at the end as a solo player.
Yeah.
He was stuck between 3 cars.
He
and
managed
just trying to hold
finish
on.
off M19 and then take down TQ when they were trying to get into the zone. Absolutely
I got
insane
respect for
performance
that.
for him to securing 5 kills and that many placement points, right?
What a way to get it done.
Oh yeah.
Now, overall, I'd say you got DM were definitely the standout team of today because although they're not going to be the top of the leaderboard, it was just the way they charged into every game and they made the right decision on fights and how it all happened. And to be fair, I love this head-to-head because Rob Deeney, you were never expected to do anything more than get potentially 1 kill. You walk away with 5 kills throughout this game, and you actually cause a big upset to some of the other teams who are trying to rotate in, and you get placement points galore for your team who desperately need it. What a way to see it all happen.
You know, just playing with his team. I don't think he was the most aggressive from Avangar. Maybe the support player who gets the rests up.
Yeah.
And, you know, 3 kills, 700 damage. Very, very good.
Could you imagine, though, you know when Bandita tried to sideswipe him and killed the 2 players on DM?
Yep.
If he'd managed to do that, this whole game would have looked totally different. The fact that Warframe was able to stay alive for so long was just such a problem for these guys. And just what an interesting ending we had there.
Overall standings.
In one day, we get 119 points there for Welcome to the Lobby. Avangar on 98, DM99 on 89. M19, they're just on the edge. Team Unique, we expected a little bit better from them in all honesty. DMStorm's up there as well. FTP in a nice spot. Okay, honestly, this is kind of how we expect. At least the top 6 is kind of what I expected here.
Oh, yeah. The only thing that might have been a slight upset is Team Unique. They haven't had as good of a day.
Agreed.
But at least the Erangel circle, right? We know they land in multi-power. And the circles have been very, very western. And it can be hard to find a good, solid spot with those airfield circles and stuff. But, I mean, staying in the top 8, you have many more days. They're not out of it yet. One we keep mentioning is White Post. They're in 15th position. 3 kills in 4 games is not acceptable. And they need to step it up if they want to make it through.
And there's a lot of teams now, at least after these first 4 games, you'll be saying, okay, this was maybe a lot tougher than we expected.
Yeah.
We had the early games in the group stages that was a bit easier for us to fight off on and maybe play quite aggressive or play a different style than what we normally do. Now, they've got to really say, all right, how do we approach this? Because this is a whole different beast. And we've seen it just in terms of what we're watching in a game. This is a lot higher level.
I think they just need to play more of their own game, right? Because what they did in the group stages worked out really, really well. And they might have said, we're going to approach this a little bit different, and it definitely didn't work out. So I think for them, they just need to watch the VODs, see what they did wrong, and then say, hey, we did pretty good the first group stage. Why don't we just do more of the same? Not be afraid to take fights, you know, have good, clever rotations and so forth. I think they might just overcomplicate it a little bit now, and that's not good.
It's not good at all, but it has been a very good day. Guys, that is us done for day 1 here of the semi-final stage for Europe. It has been a monstrous performance from some of these teams, and it has been crazy in terms of fragging, just how the games have worked out. These close endings like we just had then. I hope you guys have enjoyed it at home. I hope you guys will join us tomorrow for more action all coming your way, because we've got 2 more days of the semi-finals, at least for our first groups going up against each other early on here for week 3 overall. There's plenty more action coming. You won't want to miss it, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep checking back on the website, do all the leaderboards and everything else, and make sure you stay tuned for more PUBG Mobile action. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Play PUBG Mobile for free.